Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you are having a great day. As the NHL playoff picture could become a lot clearer tonight if the Toronto Maple Leafs get a point in their game against the Buffalo Sabres. They will wrap up first place in the Atlantic Division and will guarantee that they're taking on the Ottawa Senators. The Leafs just need 1 point in their final two games, or they would need Tampa Bay not to pick up 4 points in their two games. Tampa has secured home ice advantage over Florida, as Florida has one game left, and they can't even if they win playing the Lightning tonight. There is no opportunity of them to pass them due to the tiebreaker. But that could be a game to watch. You saw last night a little bit between the Oilers and Kings, some attempts to message send. We'll get to that in a second. So that's what's going on tonight. You also have the St. Louis Blues at home. Final game of the regular season. Win in regulation, they guarantee themselves a playoff spot. Now, win in a shootout or overtime, then Calgary has to win both of their games in regulation to pass St. Louis. But the Blues regulation win, that punches their ticket. The Wild, they just need 1 point. If they get a point, they are going to the playoffs automatically as they own the tiebreaker over the Flames. They'd be 4 points up. The Flames have 2 games in hand. The Flames play later tonight at home, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And obviously they need a win. And probably in regulation. Otherwise, if they don't win in regulation, and even if the Blues lose, then the Flames, they gain points. They could still get in, but regulation win definitely increases odds. But they need help. They need St. Louis to lose, or they need Minnesota to lose in regulation. And then the Flames got to get at least 3 points. So there's a lot of ifs for the Calgary Flames. The Columbus Blue Jackets are on the road in Philly. The Blue Jackets have slim playoff hopes, but they are alive as they trail the Montreal Canadiens by 4 points. The Blue Jackets have one fewer regulation win. Win tonight in regulation. You win your second game in regulation, and Montreal loses in regulation, then you get in. So there's a chance, albeit slim. Montreal last night losing to Chicago in the shootout, only getting 1 point. That kept the door open for the Columbus Blue Jackets for at least another day. So for fun, you see a Columbus win tonight, and they keep their hopes alive. Then tomorrow night's games, the Canadiens are at home. They're against the Hurricanes, so it's not an easy final game of the regular season by any stretch. Could you imagine if the Habs lost and somehow missed the postseason? So Columbus wins today. The Habs lose tomorrow. Then it would come down to the final game of the regular season, and the Columbus Blue Jackets are hosting the New York Islanders on Thursday. The Flames, depending on what happens tonight, could theoretically still be alive on Thursday when they take on the LA Kings. The Kings have nothing to play for, of course, after beating the Oilers last night. The Kings have 100% locked down second place. We kind of thought that was inevitable. I think the Oilers thought it was a little bit inevitable based on the resting Connor McDavid last night. The outcome of last night's game, kind of what you expected. The Oilers depleted lineup, played the night before against an LA team that went full throttle except for Edmonton, and LA wins the game. There was lots of penalties, more than you're normally going to see. 14 power plays in the game. Heck, that's usually like 3 games combined to get that many power plays. I thought at times the officials, like the game, there was a little bit of chippiness in the first period. And I think the officials were like, well, there's not going to be any. And so they had a few what I thought were kind of questionable calls. Darnell Nurse, there's no doubt that, he deserved a major. Do I think it's a suspension? So compare the Nurse Byfield play to Trennan punching a guy on the ice, breaking his orbital bone. Forbert's done for the season. He's got a broken orbital bone. Quentin Byfield walked out of the rink, joking, laughing. There was no worse for him. Now, do I think LA might sit him out tonight to make it look like he's hurt? Yeah, I could see it. It's a little bit of gamesmanship, but I can tell you, as I was leaving the press room, Quinton Byfield was walking out with one of his teammates and laughing, smiling, joking. His teammate, hey, were you hurt? And he said, no, he wasn't hurt. Now, I get why LA did what they did. Don't get me wrong. I would have done the same thing. They had nothing to play for. The game was over. Away they go. But do I think that play is suspendable? Not really, based on all the other plays that they don't suspend for. Was it a cheap play? Yes. Two things can happen at the same time. It can be cheap. Doesn't mean it's suspendable. Was it as cheap as the Trennan play? Was it as dangerous as the Trennan play? Probably not. But I think Darnell Nurse, I bet she's going to get a game. Because the NHL is going to say, now, if he gets a playoff game, that is an absolute farce. I'll just say that up front. I think it's a farce. But I do believe he'll get a game suspension, which at the end of the day isn't going to mean anything other than his pocketbook, because he'll have to pay the fine and he'll miss tomorrow night's game. That would be my guess. If he gets any more than one game, that to me is pure lunacy by the NHL. But we'll wait and see, because he had his hearing. And probably find out, I would think, later tonight, if not early tomorrow morning on Darnell Nurse. The orders are currently about set to jump on a plane and fly out to San Jose. On the show today, we'll talk a little bit of orders. Some of you are concerned. Orders are 6-3 in their last 9 games here down the stretch, where they've had a boatload of players injured. I wouldn't put a whole bunch of stock into last night's game. Is there a little bit of animosity? You know, Philip Deneau with the B team and, they're trying to hurt you comment, and Corey Perry's retort. Awesome. Do I think it has any impact on the series? I do not. We will talk about the St. Louis Blues. Cam Jansen, former NHLer, will join us in hour number 1. Myles Simmons. We'll talk a little NFL draft, which is slowly creeping up on us here. We'll talk Sarah McClellan. We'll do around the NHL. Minnesota punch their ticket tonight. If they win, we got Struddy, Speck, DVD. Paul Sir will join us to talk about the play-in games. And Albertan drafted into the WNBA, which is a great sign for Alberta basketball. Want to see the growth of it there. So that's great. We'll get to all of that. We'll have your thoughts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it is Tuesday, and that means your chance to get in Lotto Max. Up for grabs, $40 million tonight. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And also, of course, you can try the new app, all-in-one app, Casino, Sports, Lottery. Learn more at PlayAlberta.ca, or go to the App Store and get the Play Alberta app. We'll get your thoughts on Nurse. What do you think, Cons? Nurse getting suspended?
Yeah, I think he will. I'm going to say 1 game, which I don't think is a very big deal, Gregor. You kind of outlined it. Like it would be against the Sharks. It would be a time for him to take a little bit of a night off, get a little rest beforehand. Any more than that, to me, would be a little too far. I didn't like the play, like a guy's down on the ice. I don't necessarily love how it looks. Cross-check to the back of the head while he's laying there. But when you look at it, from different angles, I don't think he completely caught him, missed a little bit. And as you mentioned, if Quinton Byfield's walking out of the rink laughing, having a good time, then he's not hurt. So 1 game suspension would be fine for me. If it's anything more than that, I would be surprised. But it is the Department of Player Safety, so you never really know.
But if you look at Nurses on Byfield and Trennan on Forbert, is Nurses really that much worse?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and Forbert didn't even I don't even think Trennan got a fine. So I found it interesting. I don't know. You punch a guy in the face on the ice. Now, they're going to say they were engaged in a fight is probably why.
Mm-hmm.
So Nurse and Byfield were in a battle in front. I think it clearly looked worse than it was. The one angle made it look terrible. Then you looked at the other angle, and it looked like he barely hit him. So
yeah,
we'll see kind of which way they come out in it. I thought, he'll get a fine. That was my original reaction, but he'll have a hearing. So I would, God, it would only be a game, I would think. Also today, it's day 2 of Here Comes the Sun. That'll come up today at 3:40. Your opportunity to qualify to win a turnkey solar system valued at $15,000, courtesy of Action Electrical. That is a massive prize. Massive. $15K. You kidding me? So We'll do that today. So stay tuned. Yesterday, we did caller. Today, it'll be via text. So be ready at around 3:45 this afternoon. A lot of text flying in 833-401-1440. Many of you are wondering about when is the Oilers Kings series going to start. The Oilers do not know. Here's what I know 100%. The NHL is hoping to solidify more of it tonight. And the Lakers playing, the Oilers and Kings were never playing Saturday. The question is, do they start Sunday or do they start Monday? If they start Sunday, the Oilers who are traveling to San Jose today will stay in San Jose Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then fly to LA late Saturday. If the series doesn't start until Monday, which is what happened last year. If you remember, the playoffs started on the Saturday, and the Oilers didn't start playing until the Monday. Then the Oilers will fly back from San Jose after the game tomorrow night to be home here, and they'll practice here for a few days, and then they'll make their way to LA on Sunday. So those are the two options. It's either going to start Sunday or it's going to start Monday. And this comes down to the networks. They want to find out who's playing who. Right? And so they might have the matchups. They might know who Winnipeg's playing tonight. They might know who Vegas is playing. Like if Minnesota wins, then they're playing Vegas for sure. Even if the St. Louis game doesn't secure a playoff berth for themselves, then the league knows that Minnesota's going to Vegas and Winnipeg is either going to go to St. Louis or Calgary. So, they figure it out from there. Toronto, victory tonight. They guarantee that they're playing they're playing Ottawa. Tampa's already playing Florida. New Jersey is playing Carolina. And then Washington would play either Montreal or Columbus. And they might know by the end of tonight, because if Columbus doesn't win that game, then they're out. And they can't catch Montreal, and then it's going to be Montreal-Washington. So I was told the players, talking to the players themselves, they don't even know they're packing. They have to pack, so they might stay there for basically, they would leave today, and they'll be gone for over a week. So that's what you have to pack for. But you might be coming home tomorrow after the game, depending on when the series starts. So a little bit of uncertainty, but that's where you're at. If those of you who are wondering about the schedule for round one, it all comes down to TV. They're going to look at matchups. We know that Edmonton and LA, the games are going to be late at night, most likely. Very rarely are you going to see LA Edmonton on a Sunday afternoon to kick it off. Just probably not going to happen. So, hey, Greg's watching the lineup last night. I'm curious, which left wingers do you think are going to be on which lines when the playoffs start? From Dallas. Well, I think to start, Jeff Skinner will start with McDavid. That's my guess. I think Janmark's going to be your fourth line left winger. And then it's Podkolzin or Kane for game one. Who's on Draisaitl's line? Who's on Nugent-Hopkins' line? I could see it being Podkolzin to start game one with Draisaitl because they play there a lot. But Podkolzin's also played with Nugent Arvidsson quite a bit. So would you play Draisaitl, Kane, and Perry? Maybe. And then you go back to Brown, Henrique, and Janmark? Very possible. And they've liked Connor Brown's game lately. Maybe they want a little speed. So maybe Brown plays with Draisaitl and Kane. We'll see. So to me, it's Arvidsson and Kane are kind of your second and third line winger, depending. Janmark and Skinner will be your first and your fourth to start. So as for defense, man, if Nurse gets suspended for the playoffs for one game, Gregor, don't you think Nurse should be held accountable? It's a stupid play as a needless play. Well, let's not rip on someone until we see what the suspension is. If it's a one-game suspension, it's whatever. In the moment, like, did I think it was suspendable? No, I didn't. It was dumb, right? You look at the score of the game. Now, if that game's 1-1, does he do it? Maybe not. And, you got to keep your cool, sure. But I also, when I look at other things that haven't been suspended, I don't know. I get why they gave him a major. I understand it. You probably got to be smarter than what he was. In that moment, you would like a better reaction. That's probably fair. I would agree with that. Hey, Gregor, did you happen to see any of the highlights of Montreal last night? Demidov, impressive. Quick hands, great edge work, and a Kucherov-type deception to his game. Kid's going to be an absolute stud. Yeah, it was a good and great. It was one game. Like, I don't want to compare him to Kucherov. Kucherov is like going to be back-to-back Art Ross Trophy winners, pretty elite player. I know some are saying that he's better than Kaprizov. He's definitely dynamic. There's no question about it. He's a dynamic player. And if he can be somewhere, like if he's quote, and I put this in air phrases, only Kaprizov, that's a hell of a player. You get to be Kucherov, you're like, oh my goodness, that's it's impressive either way. I think to get to the one thing Kucherov needs and Kaprizov, like when you're a winger, it benefits if you have a good center ice. It's not 100% a must. You look at Kaprizov's numbers; he's still being pretty elite without an elite center. But man, it sure would make it a lot better. Hey guys, Gudis did more to Perry the other night than Nurse did last night. They didn't even bat an eye. I don't think so. I don't think Gudis with the shoulder. No, I wouldn't say that was worse. So, hey guys, Trennan broke Forbort's orbital bone with a cheap shot and didn't get suspended. If they suspend Nurse, I have no idea what is suspension worthy. From Stu Lou. Wow, fair point. Their argument would be two guys engage in a fight. Once you're engaging in a fight, you're putting yourself in a position where maybe you can get a cheap shot. I'm not saying, like, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing maybe that's their thinking. I don't know. Forbort did hit Trennan when he was on his knees. Granted, not in complete control, but still, maybe that played a part in it. I don't know. Nurse, they probably look at stick work worse than they look at hand work, if that's even a definition of a fight. But yeah, and now you never suspend on the end result. I will say that. I don't like suspending on the end result because you don't know what it is. Like, what if you hit a guy cheap and he doesn't get hurt and it's like blatantly cheap, and then you hit a guy just from the side and he gets out for a month? Does the one from the side, which isn't as worse in the action of it but has a worse result, does that become a bigger suspension? That's why I'm always leery to suspend based on the result of the play. Because sometimes you can do just an egregious, terrible cheap shot, no one gets injured, and you get away with it. I don't think so. So I didn't think that play that night was that egregiously cheap. I could see why they're going to do a suspension, though, probably. I think Nurses, he has been suspended before, so that's a small part in it. Although, I don't even know, like that Vegas suspension, that came in 20. Well, yeah, it's still within 2 years. So, it probably counts. I think it's 2 or 3 years. If I'm not mistaken, something more than that, but that probably plays a small role in it, I would think. Quick break. We'll come back. Cam Jansen will join us. The St. Louis Blues. They went on an unreal run, but suddenly they lost 3 in a row. All they need is a win. Can they get back on track against a team on the second half of a back-to-back? Find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantor, proudly delivering world-class hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada since 2016. I'm thrilled to announce our in-house production of tool components and accessories for faster turnarounds and enhanced versatility. The future is here at Cantor.com.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
There's one. and another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Tired of waking up tired.
Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 2:20, welcome back to the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, sports1440.ca. Thanks, as always, for joining, listening to the show as we are days away. Only 3 days left in the regular season. The NHL playoffs will begin on Saturday. The Oilers will not play on Saturday. We'll find out later, maybe as early as tomorrow. Are they going to start on Sunday or Monday? As it'll depend on the television teams and which matchups they want on certain nights. Obviously, arena availability in some markets is a factor. Obviously, the LA Kings share a rink with the Lakers. The Lakers have priority. They have the first game on Saturday, so it's a non-issue. But when's game 2 going to be for the Lakers? If it's Tuesday, then I could see a Monday, Wednesday start for the Edmonton Oilers. Do you really want to go Sunday and then have an extra day off between games? They don't really like to do that if they can avoid it, so if you can just go Monday, Wednesday, rather than go Sunday, Wednesday, you'll probably do it. But we'll see. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, because while the Oilers are in, we know who they're playing. There's still quite a few series up for grabs to see who is going to play where. Around the NHL brought to you by McDonald's. And wake up from sweet dreams to a sweet new breakfast lineup. The Smoky Maple Breakfast Sandwiches. Get the bacon and egg McMuffin and others with smoky maple sauce, but only for a limited time. At McDonald's, as a former NHLer and co-host of the Cam and Strick podcast, Cam Jansen joins us. Cam, my man, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jason? What's going on, man?
Oh, man, there's lots happening. It's a big night in St. Louis. The Blues went on an epic run to put themselves in a great spot. Suddenly they lost 3 in a row to make it a little bit more pressure packed, but they do control their destiny 100%, win in regulation, and they punch their ticket. They're taking on a team who played last night, who doesn't have much to play for. Cam, you've been in this situation. It's like, I'm assuming like the first period, the Blues, like guys, like you got to come out like this is a playoff mentality tonight if you're the Blues.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think they had that mentality for the past couple of games. Well, they tried to at least. But after going on that long run, like even some of the close games where they didn't play well, they still did enough things where they found a way to win. And you could just see, different aspects of the game that were coming together. But the last 3 games, it just was a different story. You really dissect some of these games. I mean, Connor McDavid a lot of guys didn't even know that he was playing. All of a sudden, like, oh, he's in warm. Oh, he is playing. And he turned out to just dominate that game and end up making a really good play at the end of the game. The Blues are in a weird spot right now. They're missing Dylan Holloway, who I've told you this before, has been the most consistent guy pretty much all year long. And they just haven't had that extra jump, that extra spark. But they've had just a ridiculous schedule. We've had, I don't know how many, 10-day road trips. And I know everybody else is going through that, but the boys put together such a run, and to lose like this would be a tough go. But I think they're going to come out tonight against a Utah team that they really struggle against. Like they've struggled against Clayton Keller, who's a hometown kid from St. Louis. He's from Swansea, Illinois. He usually does some damage when he comes into town. So this should be interesting. But I will tell you this, downtown's going to be rocking tonight, and that building's going to be packed, and people want to see the Blues in the playoffs around St. Louis.
Well, yeah, I would think so. And honestly, like you mentioned Holloway, and that's a big loss, but man, I watched that Robert Thomas line in Edmonton, and they were good. Like I look at if Robert Thomas's line shows up tonight, the Blues should win.
Well, yeah, and if Jordan Bennington stands on his head, like he knows how to do in important games. And people always talk about, the last game against Canada USA where he just shut it down against Austin Matthews. And if you're American like me, it was very frustrating to watch, although we love him and we want him to succeed in many ways. Maybe not in that tournament, but we saw him in the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7 with Boston. But people forget about the series against Dallas in the second round that went to Game 7, where he was just fantastic. And Patrick Maroon, St. Louis boy, scores in double overtime, and they just get all the momentum in the world. So Jordan Bennington needs to come up big tonight. Robert Thomas has had a hell of a year. He's pretty much done it all. He's been very, very consistent. He's probably right up there with Dylan Holloway. He was, you really watch when you do radio for the Blues, man, you're watching every second of every shift of these guys. And I can't count how many games that Robert Thomas was the best player on the ice by a long shot. He is just finding his confidence and, making everybody around him better. I mean, sometimes he could have 7 points in a game where guys don't even realize the puck's on their stick until the last moment, and they can't get a great shot off because he's so sneaky with the puck. So this is going to be interesting. But I'm telling you, you can't go into this game lightly. They're not going to do that. Monty's going to get everybody pumped up. Braden Shen, who's been struggling as of late, I'm sure is in a locker room right now. It's going to be in a locker room pumping these guys up. This is a big-time show at home, and it's on you. And going through, again, that 12-game winning streak, you still have a winning streak at home. Don't waste it now. Keep it in your hands and go out there and have one tonight.
Cam Jansen joins us. They got Colton Parayko back over the weekend, so that's huge. It's one game. How did he look?
Well, he scored a nice goal. I mean, he finds a way to just creep up in the offense, and all of a sudden he gets a semi-little breakaway and goes backhand shelf. And, he was off a little bit. I mean, rightfully so. But when he went down, I remember being in L.A. with the team, and actually my wife was up there. We're all chilling. We had a day off the night before the Blues to play the Kings. And I remember him kind of toe picking in overtime, which in that game about a month and a half ago, everybody was falling down. The ice was really bad. And it kind of just looked awkward. And all of a sudden we're sitting there having a beer, chilling the next day. And you look at Twitter and people are saying Colton Parayko is out. And I didn't believe it at first. And all of a sudden like, oh my gosh. And then all this news came out. Everybody was like, oh boy, it's over. And it wasn't. And the guys rallied around. Cam Fowler stepped up and took important minutes away. You know, Tyler Tucker gets in the lineup and plays extremely well. And now you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, the Blues are so deep on the back end. Colton Parayko had a great night the other night. He's going to be hard to deal with. They're sitting Tyler Tucker out now, which is just one of those numbers games. But to have the big boy back there leading the charge is always a good thing.
Cam, you look at the Blues, and if they get in, you know, depending on what happens in Minnesota, does St. Louis, like, who would be a better matchup for them? Do you think the Jets or Vegas?
Man, Vegas is Vegas. They proved themselves. They're still absolutely loaded. They're deep. But I watched the Jets the other day, and they were missing like Ehlers and a couple other guys. They were so good. They were fast. They were big. Adam Lowry was mean. He was mean to Snuggerud. He was pushing guys out of the way. You know, their defense was shutting everybody down. Morrissey's doing his thing. You know, Stanley's up there rocking guys, getting in front of everybody's face like, oh boy, ooh, they got that playoff intensity. Now they have to prove themselves, of course. You know, and we all know what happened in 2019 when I think they were the heavily favorite team to beat the Blues when they, you know, squeaked in later on in the season, and the Blues did pretty good against them. And Hollebuck, you know, is the best goalie in the world right now, besides probably Jordan Binnington in big-time situations, and he's going to have to do his thing. If they all come together, I watch that Winnipeg team, and they are hard to deal with. Mm-hmm. They are. But then you look at Vegas, they're hard to deal with too, but anything could happen if your goalie gets hot.
Well, that's true, right? And or if anything can happen if all of a sudden you let the other team wheel up and down the ice like we saw last year with Colorado and the Jets. The Jets,
there it is.
You know, and they just got absolutely steamrolled, which makes it interesting. Like I think the Blues do match up better against the Jets because I also want to see Minnesota and Vegas because I think that would be a slobber knocker series. Two heavy teams. Like the one thing the Wild got, they got some skill when Kaprizov's healthy, but they got a few guys who will run up and down. And man, I'd let Foligno and Trennan up against Vegas. That'd be a hell of a series.
Well, are you saying you're counting Calgary out now? Ooh, how dare you? You might make some people mad. They're still in it. We shall see, you know. Yeah. But yeah, like Minnesota hasn't been playing great. They got, you know, they've been banged up. Listen, all these series are going to be interesting. Hockey's in a really good spot right now. It's fast. There's scoring. There's records being broken. There's fights. There's hits. There's drama. Ford Nation was great. This is going to be drama-filled. That's exactly what we want. And I can't wait to see, you know, Florida and Tampa. I see what Toronto is going to be doing. Is Montreal going to figure it out? That was a crazy game, you know, last night against Chicago. There's so much going on. I just, you know, even being in the middle of Missouri down here in the U.S., I know you guys see all this all day, 24/7. But once you start seeing people talking about the NHL playoffs that have nothing to do with the Blues here in St. Louis, that's when you know you got a good product going.
Cam Jansen joins us, former NHLer, of course, co-host the Cam and Strick podcast. Cam, you debuted in the NHL the same season as Crosby and Ovechkin. So, you know what, came in 05-06. And, you know, you played against both of those guys for a long time. Very different players. Do you have like a memorable moment of playing against Ovechkin?
Oh, God, yeah. My first goal ever. It was 12 games before I scored my first goal. I was getting bashed by everybody on the ice, my teammates, in a funny way, but it wore me down. Yeah, I'm fighting guys. I'm hitting. There's a reason why I stayed in the lineup, but I didn't score forever. And I remember playing the Capitals, and I take a stupid tripping call, which I never did that. If I'm going to get an elbowing call, charging, whatever, at least I'm going into the forecheck, doing my thing. You take a stupid tripping call. I remember being in the penalty box. I'm like, I might not play the rest of the game. Might get sent down. I don't know. And I remember the guy in the penalty box like, Cam, you're going to score a goal here. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm going right to the bench, and I'm sitting the rest of the game. And I get on the ice, and I get the puck from Jay Pandolfo. Right after he blocked a big shot. This is all on YouTube. Marty makes a big save. They kick it out to me. Alexander Ovechkin was right there. He could have took 2 strides and poked the puck away from me. And if he would have done that, I probably would have got sent down and only played that many games in the NHL. But he let me go, and I ripped the slap shot top shelf, and I finally got my first goal, and I was able to stay up for the rest of the year. And I'm telling you, that sequence would have been completely different if Alexander Ovechkin didn't back check on my first goal. So thank you, Obi. I know you figured it out when you won the Stanley Cup, but you weren't in that mindset when I scored my first one. I think it was in 07. So that's a big memory for me.
Oh, I was looking it up, and you know what? It wasn't as many games as you think, Cam. So I'm looking up because you went goalless in your first season in 47 games. But when you scored against Washington, which came on February 24th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, minus 13. So that came.
It's a lot.
Yeah. No, but it was only 82. It wasn't 100 is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. It was only 82.
Okay,
so don't be as hard. Don't be as hard.
Somebody put a clip out the other day. Maybe it was missing curfew or something. And it said, I remember getting interviewed and this guy said like over 100 and something. I'm like, wow, I don't remember being that long.
No.
But even if it's 60 or 80, it doesn't matter. You're getting chirped by everybody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You want to crawl to that hole, man. I'm telling you.
So now when you scored, I'm guessing your celly was top notch.
You got to look that up on YouTube, baby. It's right there. It's actually good. It's a good goal. It really is. And I don't remember like I was in shock, you know, you're just in shock. And people say that you black out. No, that's true. I don't remember. My mom and dad were there too. And I have a picture of me holding my arms up and they are in the background in Jersey. And it's just the sweetest thing ever. And I have it in my basement looking at it right now.
So you scored. I'm looking, cool. you scored in the second period. Then you had a fight in the third period against John Erskine, tough dude. Right. You were
Johnny.
You were never a spot picker. You were an assist away from the Gordie Howe hat trick, man. Should have been looking at Coach. Coach, can I get out here? I need an assist.
I bet you that he put me. Well, I think it just depends. Some of the coaches are cool like that. Get out there and find a way to get a point. But at the pace I was going, I probably would have had 1,000 more periods to be out there. So there's probably a reason why he didn't play me the rest of the game.
Like Cam, you think about it. When you look at Ovechkin, a guy who came in the league the same time as you, right? So you're basically the same age. I think you're a few years older than him, but he's still going and scoring 40+ goals this year. Like, how much do you marvel at a guy who played in the league, who understands how hard it is to stay in the league, that this guy is not only staying in it, but still excelling in the hardest thing to do, which is score goals at age 39.
The reason why I got into hockey was because of Brett Hall, Kelly Chase, Tony Twist, and maybe Pavel Bure because I liked him when I was a young kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
But Alexander Ovechkin is my favorite player since I've been playing the game. He's hilarious. He doesn't give a damn. He eats Subway. He parties with everybody. He dances he's a rapper. He has the funniest commercials in all of hockey. You look back at his commercials, I'm like, it's the funniest damn thing where he's just in the locker and he's just laughing. He is so damn cool. Everybody in the team loves him, and he's mean, and he'll hit you. He's one of the few guys that are that skilled, that score that many goals that you're afraid that you're going to get run over. I know you're going to say Gordie Howe. I didn't grow up watching him. No. I grew up watching I played against Alexander Ovechkin, and he will put you down with a hit. And that just adds on so much. I want him to get to 900, and I want him to break the hitting record too. He's on my Mount Rushmore.
It's hard not to be. He's a pretty dynamic player because he was a great goal scorer, but I've talked to Struds and so many other D-men, and they're like, the thing about Ovi that was hard was he was one of the few superstars that would run you over in his career. Like, he was a train, and, huge guy. Like, he's listed at 235, and guys like, he probably played at 250. Like, he was massive.
235. I'm 240, and he's bigger than me right now, and he can still do his thing. So he just has that extra element to him, but he's fun. He's not a robot. He's funny. You know what I mean? So, he's diving when they won the cup. They're the first team to really celebrate. Listen, I know 99 Dallas, they partied with Pantera. They broke the cup off the house, blah, blah, blah. I know that. But whenever you have cameras in your face and you're literally waterboarding yourself, him and Osh, and they're diving in fountains with he's just the ultimate cool hockey player. And Washington, D.C. loves him. He's going to have statues all over the place.
Going back to the Blues, you mentioned Dylan Holloway. What's the latest? Are they hoping he'll be ready for the playoffs?
Oh, man, I don't know. You know how it is in hockey, dude. Yeah, they don't tell you anything. It doesn't seem good. When you say week to week, I mean, you know how it goes with that. Like Edmonton's been dealing with this. I think that he probably would see the first round, just what I've heard, although I don't know. But it's not good. And you miss him. He goes hard on the forecheck. Every single shift he does something. Whether it hits, he makes a play on the wall, he does something offensively, he does something defensively, and you're just kind of missing that. But there's no excuse tonight against a Utah team. You all got to come together. Other guys got to step up to the plate and do your thing. But I hope we see him as sooner rather than later. I just don't know.
Cam, enjoy the game tonight. It should be rocking in St. Louis. The Blues control their fate. Just win in regulation, and they punch their ticket to the playoffs. And that's all you can ask for. You want to be in control. You know, you mentioned Calgary. They need a lot of help. They need St. Louis to lose. They need the Wild to lose to keep alive. And both of those things cannot happen tonight. So the Blues, they've had a great run, and they should be able to finish it off against a team on a second half of a back-to-back.
I think they will. You just got to watch out for that hometown boy, Clayton Keller, because he's on a roll right now. But I'm excited about tonight. Hockey's in a good spot, and I'll come on anytime, Jason.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks, Cam. Great to talk to you again, my man.
See you, buddy.
I bet you. There's Cam Jansen. Really good dude. The thing I love about Cam is he's so fired up. Like, he's always just like a ball of energy. And that's how he played. You know what? He wasn't he was definitely not a big-time scorer in the NHL in his career. But, man, anybody who watched Cam Jansen, like, he wasn't very big. Like, Cam's probably, you know, he's listed at 6 feet. I bet you if we asked him true serum, he's probably closer to 5'11". And he fought those huge heavyweights. And he was tough. He could hit. Like, body checker, man. He could run guys over. And he really, he made it to the league on just sheer tenacity. He's a good skater. And you know what? Didn't play a ton, but ended up playing like almost 350 games in the NHL, which, you know, pretty good career. And then he obviously spent probably another 200 games in the American League. So 500 pro games. It's not a bad career at all. And, but man, he gave you everything he had. He wasn't a really talented scorer, but you had to have your head on a swivel when he was on the ice. No question about it. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. When we return, a little bit of draft talk, because it's right around the corner on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Spring, where everything is coming up roses, except for GS Construction. We're heading underground, and we couldn't be happier. Spring is always a busy time of year for everyone trying to get out there and do some work. Well, GS Construction agrees, and we also agree that we just might need some help. So if you're looking to work and join a group where safety, teamwork, and continuous improvement have been at our core since 1974, send us a resume. Come work with us this spring. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Mr. Rooter hits the link.
So I tell the guy it's leaking because you have a hole in one.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you have a better chance of hitting the green with a crescent wrench, you bum.
Oh, boy. It's my rival, Mr. Plunger.
You swing a club like you plumb. Lousy.
Lousy, eh? Hey, Mr. Plunger, there's a clog down there that even you could fix.
For a plumber you can trust, call Mr. Rooter.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
247. Welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Declan Kruger, of course, run things online at sports1440.ca. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Brand new. The new app for Play Alberta. It's got everything. Casino, lotteries, games, pick them, get them all at playalberta.ca. And while you're there, $40 million up for grabs tonight. Lotto Max. Get your tickets. We are, 9 days away from the NFL draft. So you got NBA play-in starts tonight. NHL playoff starts Saturday. NFL draft is on Thursday. Man, it's a great time of year. Got MLB playoffs going on. We just have the Masters. Golf season's kicking off. You got F1, IndyCar. Whew. It's a great time of year if you're a sports fan. Great time of year. Just had the WNBA draft last night. So there is a lot of sporting stuff going on right now. As we get to our NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. You need help tonight, on the weekend? No OT. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. As Myles Simmons from NBC Pro Football Talk joins us to discuss a little bit of the draft. Myles, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Excellent. Let's talk the draft. And it seems as we get closer here, everybody is seemingly picking Cam Ward to go to the Tennessee Titans. My question is not if they're going to take him, but how are they going to use him? Are they going to be smart? Are they going to let this guy learn behind a veteran? Or are they just going to throw him to the Wolves?
Oh, I don't know that they're going to have much choice but to throw him to the Wolves. I mean, it depends on the situation a lot of times if that works or not. Because, I mean, we've seen, quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, for instance. 2 years ago, he goes second overall. Bryce Young goes number 1 overall. And look, he ends up performing extremely well, right? Leads them to the playoffs. But then you can look at that same draft class. Bryce Young, thrown to the Wolves, plays really, really poorly, plays even worse in the first couple of games in 2024, gets benched, but then he's all right. I mean, last year, if you look at it, Caleb Williams, he played all year. I mean, had some good things, had some bad things. Jaden Daniels, though, number 2 overall, plays all year. And he actually does really, really well. So, I mean, it's not like it's impossible for a rookie to do well in those kinds of situations if he gets taken early. But I guess, if we're talking about the 2 guys that I just mentioned, or 4 guys I just mentioned, rather, then maybe you want to go number 2 overall to number 1 overall, right? Because if you're the second quarterback and you're number 2 overall, you seem to do it a little bit better.
Yeah, well, there isn't there's no dominant player, at least, and it might become a dominant player. Although Travis Hunter, he's a unique wide receiver cornerback combo. I think most feel he's a better defensive player, good receiver. He said, man, if I don't get to play both ways, I'm going to quit Do you think, A, the Browns take him, and B, do you think they'll play him as like a starting corner and then, have him come in on certain plays as a receiver? What do you think they're going to do?
I'm more convinced than ever that the Browns are going to take Travis Hunter at number 2 overall. And what's interesting about the Browns is, unlike a lot of teams, they have talked about how they see him more as a receiver than a cornerback. So I think he would be, if he goes to the Browns, I think he would be more of a full-time receiver who sometimes plays corner, maybe, certain passing downs, third downs, et cetera. It's third and long. Maybe they throw him out there and try to help out the secondary. But it was interesting. Andrew Berry, the Browns general manager, talked about this at the Combine, back in February, and he was saying that they see him, Travis Hunter's superpower as his hands, right? And so if that's the case, then it does make sense that you would want him to be a receiver, because that's going to take advantage of what they think is his best quality more often than him being a cornerback. So I think it's going to be really, really tough for him to play both ways at the highest level. I mean, you don't see it very often for a reason. But yeah, to answer the question, if he does go to the Browns, I think he will be more of a wide receiver than he will be a cornerback. And that is not necessarily the case if he goes to other teams.
So you think if he goes to other teams, he'll just be one-way guy, that's it?
Not necessarily, no, but I think he'll primarily be a cornerback.
Okay.
Then that's somebody that would come on to the field, and he plays occasionally at receiver, as opposed to the Browns. I think it's the opposite.
Abdul Carter, you think he's that much of a difference maker?
I think he can be. I mean, it's interesting when you look at Abdul Carter versus, other really, really good pass rushers that have come out in the last few years. I mean, it's not like you're saying Abdul Carter is that much better than those type of guys, but he is the kind of Aiden Hutchinson, really big defensive playmaker, difference maker at that spot. And look, one of the reasons why I kind of thought the Browns might go with Abdul Carter, and now I don't think they will, just based on things I've heard, is because you have Myles Garrett, who's already an elite pass rusher. And it's very, very rare that you field a team with 2 elite pass rushers that you're going to have for the foreseeable future. The Browns locked up Myles Garrett, for a lot of money, even though he said he wanted to trade and all this. But now he is under contract, and he is more likely than not going to be with the Browns for a very long time. And my thought was, well, if you can have Abdul Carter too, I mean, that really does put opposing offensive line in hell, because I mean, you don't know how to defend that, and it will really open up different opportunities for guys on the inside. But again, the Browns need to score touchdowns more, so that would kind of take Abdul Carter probably off of the table at number 2 overall, even though I'm sure they would love to have him. I think wherever Abdul Carter goes, he's going to be an impact player from day one, and that part of that's the position he plays. Right? You don't have to have him on the field every single first down, second down, third down. He can be a pass rush specialist early in his career if that's what the team that drafts him needs him to do. But as he evolves and as he grows and as he learns the National Football League, I do think he can be one of those every down, really good guys.
Myles, Connor Halley here. Myles Simmons joining us from the Jason Gregor Show, looking at the NFL draft. Obviously, Ashton Genty, probably the consensus number 1 overall back. You got a Marion Hampton as well, who could be a first-round pick. But when you're looking on the day 2 and maybe even 3 picks for day drafts for running backs, is there anyone that stands out as someone who you think could contribute in year 1?
I think a lot of those guys could if they go to the right place, right? I mean, that's the thing about being a running back is if you go to the right spot, then you're going to be all right. Like Isaiah Pacheco, for instance, 7th-round pick a couple of years ago with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's there and it's fine. So, I mean, it's not like you go to a certain place and you're a running back. It's not, you're going to be out of it, you know what I mean? But if you're talking about specific guys, I think Travion Henderson is one of those dudes that can make a difference, and it was reported today that he's taken a visit with the Steelers, and the Steelers obviously need a running back. They let Najee Harris walk in free agency. One of those guys at Ohio State that was really instrumental in them winning the national title this last year. And he had over 1,000 yards. So, when you're looking at a guy like that and he averages over 7 yards per carry, that's something where you're probably not going to do that at the next level, especially because you're not just going to be around a bunch of world-beating all-stars at every single position. But Henderson is a guy that I think can come in and can make a difference just based on the way that we have seen him contribute at the college level.
And I've seen a lot of people kind of refer to this draft as a meat and potatoes draft. You know, the linemen are solid, the running backs, I think even tight end is pretty good. Is there a position group that you think is getting underrated as we approach the draft?
I'm not sure. I think quarterback, maybe you can say that just because, I mean, it doesn't appear that like this is going to be one of those drafts where, you know, okay, you've got all these different guys that are going to come off the board and then they're still going to come through for you. I mean, it's not 2018, right, where you had all those guys come off the board like a Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson, those two obviously being the best in that class. And even last year, you're not going to have 6 quarterbacks come off the board early. But, you know, I think Shedeur Sanders is one of those guys that seems to be very, very polarizing. Either you think he's going to be great, you know, and like that's despite his father and all these things, or you think like he's only getting hyped up as a potential first-round pick because of his dad. And I don't really necessarily know where it's going to land. I think a lot of that has to do with the environment he goes into. But then there are guys like a Jackson Dart, like a Will Howard, you know, we just talked about Ohio State with Henderson. I mean, Will Howard goes there from K-State and he helps them win a national title. Like that's not nothing. Riley Leonard is another one of those guys who maybe eventually could make an impact. Tyler Stroh, he was at Louisville and had a pretty decent year in the last year. So I think because of, you know, the meat and potatoes aspect of this, sometimes we might overlook the QBs that are available and that if they go to the right situation really could become impact players down the road.
Just one last quick one for me here. Just looking at the quarterbacks and those that are going to attend the draft, Jalen Milroe out of Alabama is going to go to Green Bay and be there. We've seen this year after year when that one quarterback is sitting in the green room and the camera continuously pans to him. Best case scenario, where do you think he will end up, and could he be a day 1 or 2 pick?
I mean, it did kind of baffle me when I saw that, and I'm thinking, why is he going when nobody really is projecting him as a first-round pick? But maybe the NFL and maybe he knows something that we don't. I kind of hope that's the case because otherwise it will be a little bit weird for him to be in the green room, not just on day 1, but on day 2. I mean, I think best case scenario, somebody has fallen in love with him in the pre-draft process and they decide that they're going to trade up to number 30, number 31, or number 32, and they are going to pick him at that spot. And that means that they're going to have the 5th-year option, you know, so that he can be around that team at a lower contract rate for longer, especially if you're drafting him that low in the first round, you presumably already have a starter. Right. So you're kind of setting yourself up to say, okay, well, he can sit for a year, maybe 2 years, learn everything, and then when we feel comfortable, we put him in there. So that I think would probably be his best case scenario, but I don't know about that.
Who do you think is the best receiver in the draft?
The best receiver in the draft, well, probably Travis Hunter. But if we are taking Travis Hunter out of the equation, then I mean, it's hard because, look, when you look at all these different guys, they all have such different skill sets. I mean, there's a part of me that kind of wants to say Tyler Warren, he's a tight end, but that is one of the things where you look at it and you're like, well, yeah, he's got to be an inline blocker. But I was just so impressed by what he was doing at Penn State that he's one of those guys that I really do think can make an impact day 1 at the next level. Kind of like a Brock Bowers, maybe not necessarily that. But Matthew Golden from Texas is another one of those guys that I would say is probably going to be the first receiver off the draft, and probably deservedly so. I mean, he did a really, really nice job in that scheme with Steve Sarkisian there as head coach. You know, he has the intangible things that you kind of want to see from a receiver, but also he's somebody that is just polished, you know, and so I think he can come in and make an impact early on. And that probably will make him the first receiver off the board.
And if you look at, I don't care if it's mid-round, which player do you feel put in the right situation has the best chance to be a superstar? Is there a superstar in the right situation in this draft?
Yeah, I think it's Travis Hunter. Frankly, I don't know if the Browns are the right situation for that, but we'll see. I mean, look, anytime somebody can make the kind of impact that he can on both sides of the ball, you know, and again, I don't know how much he's going to play both ways, but because of that makes him unique. I mean, it's not this, but it's almost like a Shohei Ohtani, right? I mean, how he at least used to be able to pitch and hit and do it so well. I mean, and now he's like the best hitter on the planet, and we'll see if he gets back to pitching this year or not. But yeah, that to me, when you have that unique of a skill set, that makes you superstar potential.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll do it, but I think he's the guy with the highest chance to.
Awesome stuff, man. We look forward to it. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Myles.
All right, take care, guys.
Myles Simmons from NBC Pro Football Talk, the NFL draft next week. And then, of course, we'll get into the CFL draft the week after that. Man, it just keeps coming. It's getting into April and May. You got playoffs all over the place. Can't wait. Like, you're a sports fan? Woo-hoo, get some rest. Get some rest because you're going to need it. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, your chance to qualify for our Here Comes the Sun promotion. Also, we'll talk some hoops. With Paul Sir. We'll talk more on the Edmonton Oilers. They're off to San Jose. They are packing for potentially be gone a week. There is a chance, though, the Oilers could be coming home right after the game tomorrow night if they know that they don't start their playoffs until Monday. So we'll fill you in on that and more. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Road trips, job sites, and daily commutes. No matter where you drive, you need a team that keeps you rolling, and Fountain Tire does more than just tires. They handle everything from alignments to brakes, shocks, and full mechanical services. Find your nearest store at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
This just coming down. Logan Couture confirming that his playing days are over, saying physically he's not unable to keep going. Couture was the Sharks' first overall pick back in 2007 and finishes his career with 933 games played, 323 goals, and 701 points. Winnipeg Jets forward Nikolai Ehlers has been ruled out week to week with a right foot injury just before the start of the playoffs. He finished this season with 24 goals, 39 helpers in 69 games. On the ice tonight, you do have the Wild taking on the Ducks. Golden Knights meet the Flames. Kings in Seattle. Islanders up against the Caps. The Lightning take on the Panthers. Flyers host the Jackets. Chicago heads to Ottawa. Sabres taking on the Leafs and the Devils in Boston. In the NBA, it's play-in action tonight at 5:30. Got the Hawks taking on the Magic. Then at 8 o'clock, the Warriors hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. Major League Baseball today. Blue Jays in action once again, hosting the Braves. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. We also have the Orioles hosting the Guardians. Red Sox up against the Rays. Athletics in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Padres host the Cubs and the Rockies in Los Angeles. In the WHL, 2 games tonight. At 7, the Hurricanes host the Hitmen. Lethbridge leads that series 2-0. And then at 8 o'clock, the Winterhawks taking on the Silvertips. Tips up 2-0 in that series. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Paul Sir from the Basketball Show, and we'll qualify our next person for a chance to win Here Comes the Sun. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
today.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca. Dang. Last season, you bought
Nation,
new clothes
YouTube,
to fix your
Facebook.
game. You spent the entire season
Welcome to the
trying
Tuesday
to
edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports
Guess what?
1440
Dang,
Orders
they didn't
Nation.
help the game.
You
Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better every day at
just after 2:20. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, Sports 1440
all the
Orders.
difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference.
Yes.
FittedGolf.ca.
For a rock-solid
247. Welcome back,
spring and
Gregor.
summer project,
Connor Halley.
Bash Concrete
Sports
products.
1440.
From concrete to septic tanks, precast water pads to outhouses, plus aggregates, landscaping supplies, and more. Renos Construction. Start planning right now at bashawconcrete.com or call 780-372-3854. That's 780-372-3854. Family owned and operated, proudly serving Albertans since 1963. Bashaw Concrete Products.
The My Choice sales event is back at Nissan, where you can get the all-new boldly redesigned Kicks with best-in-class cargo space. Right now, choose Kicks S front-wheel drive with $1,200 in Nissan bonus or accessory credit, or choose 3-year prepaid maintenance. The choice is yours with My Choice. Hurry in, these offers won't last long. Head to your local Nissan dealer today. Available in leasing or financing through NCF. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.308. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Wednesday. The Gregor Show is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. So hope you are enjoying your night. Should be great. Some Oiler news. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton, where stop in right now. You can get some great deals. Ooh, you want to go for a test drive? Get in the XC90, a 2025 plug-in hybrid. From 1.49%, you can lease it and save $5,000. Great vehicles, better service. Volvo Cars Edmonton, where, hey, they're the home. A lot of the Swedes are driving the Volvos. They love the Volvos. Even has a little Swedish flag in it. Nice. Speaking of the orders, they have recalled Connor Carrick on emergency recall basis, which makes me think that they think there's a chance that Darnell Nurse is getting suspended. So Carrick recalled on an emergency basis. So he would come up. Nurse comes out. Now, as men, the game means nothing, except I will say, I do think there's one thing, and I'll be curious to see if indeed the Oilers play Connor McDavid tomorrow night. You have an opportunity to have 100 points, 5 consecutive seasons, 8 all-time. He'd only become the 4th player all-time to have 8. Dion has 8, Lemieux has 10, Gretzky has 50. I think there's some value in that. I do personally. Maybe they don't. We'll see. But I would. And hey, if you're all worried about it, you can play him, get a point, and then you can sit him the rest of the game if you really are that concerned. And like the San Jose Sharks, they're a younger team. They're playing out the string. They're banged up. They're not going to be running the Edmonton Oilers. I can tell you that right now. That's not their MO. So they don't really have a lot of guys who are going to do it. And It's their last game of the season, right? Logan Couture announced today that he's done playing. Like, they're just going to want to be, hey, can we just get the season over with, right? It'll be their third game in 4 nights. I don't see it being much of an issue. So I would play him if it's me. The Oilers had 11 forwards last game. They recalled Connor Carrick. So, they didn't have yet to recall Phil, but you have to recall Ryan. So I guess you go 11-6 again. Wouldn't be a big issue, but I could see playing McDavid. I wouldn't have a big issue with it at all. They'll find out officially a little bit later on about, Darnell Nurse, the fact that he's having a hearing. It's got a past history. I could see him getting a game. Now, if he gets any more than 1 game and it's a playoff game, that's essentially saying you're suspending him for like 4 games because 1 regular season game. And if people argue that a playoff game is worth like 3 regular season games. So if he gets 1, now it's a 4-game suspension for that. Come on. It can't be. I just don't see how. Even if you say it's worth 2 regular season games, well, then it's still a 3-game suspension. I don't see how that's a 3-gamer. So I think it's going to be 1 game, which ultimately will only hurt Nurse's wallet and nothing else. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The orders, and we keep getting texts about the schedule. I understand you're all fired up. I don't know the answer. I wish I could tell you. Here's what I know 100% about the Oilers' playoff schedule against the Kings. It's either starting Sunday or Monday. And a lot of it is going to depend on when they find out the schedules of the other teams, which could happen as early as tonight. St. Louis and Minnesota win their games. The Blues in Minnesota anyway. And if the Blues win in regulation, then Calgary's eliminated. And they know it's Mini versus Vegas. It's Winnipeg versus St. Louis. The only other one to be determined would be Columbus and Montreal, who's going to take on Washington. That's it. So that Washington can open up at home. What now? I'll tell you right now, the Canadian broadcaster would have more of a say for sure if it's Montreal than Columbus, right? If it's a Columbus one, they're like, well, let's change things up here a little bit. And let's make sure we have Toronto on one night, them in Ottawa, maybe Edmonton on the other night, right? Because Edmonton would obviously be the second biggest draw nationally. Then you got the Jets amongst the Canadian teams. If the Habs are in, they're taking on the Capitals. They'd probably want Montreal and Toronto on opposite nights. Just looking at it from a TV perspective. So it's kind of where it's at for the Oilers fans. You will find out that on at latest Thursday, but probably by tomorrow, I would think. The team might even find out later tonight. But it won't really matter as long as they find out before they leave San Jose. Because if the Oilers know they're playing Sunday, they will stay in San Jose and then they'll go to LA on Saturday. However, if they're not playing until Monday, then they're coming home. So that's what I know about the travel plans for the Oilers. So if it's Monday, they come home. If it's Sunday, they stay in California. It's just that simple. Hey, Greg's, any latest on Frederick? I don't expect Trent Frederick to play game 1 of the playoffs. Maybe it's game 2. Maybe it's game 3. Who knows? But don't expect him to return for game 1. Evander Kane, I'm pretty confident is going to play in game 1. Draisaitl, Hyman, Wallman, Stetcher, everything from the organization, people I've talked to, they expect that they'll be ready to go for game 1. Now, the third pairing and just how they're going to deploy their defense without Ekholm, I think we know that the top 4 defensemen in minutes are easily going to be Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, and Kulak. That's Captain Obvious stuff. We all know it. It's going to come down to how many minutes is Emberson and Stetcher going to play, and will half of their shifts be together and half their shifts apart? I think it'll probably be that. Half together, half apart. Because they're both right shots. And while Stetcher can play the left side and has done it lots in his career, probably don't want to do it all the time. So. And Greg's, there's a concert on Rogers on Saturday. Might affect things for the playoff. Mitch, well, who's the concert? Remember, they moved concerts before, right? Depending on who it is, they have moved a concert to delay the game. And that'll play a small part in it for sure. But Saturday night, the broadcasters, I know you're not going to like to hear this, but they worry way more about the early game because that's where they get the most viewers. And they're going to have Toronto probably on Saturday for sure. If not, Montreal, if they're in. But I know that they moved a concert last year. People didn't like it, but they moved it anyway to the next night. So Preston has been set that if need be, they could do that again. So again, we'll find out. Hey, Greg's, do you know, did Couture retire or just say he's done playing? Well, it's a great question. And the reason I think you're asking that question is, like, if I'm Logan Couture and I know his playing days are done, and I have to go back and read, I don't know if he officially retired. I think he just said his playing days are done because he still has 2 years left in his contract. If he retires, he walks away from $16 million. I don't think that's happening. So he'll just go on LTIR for the Sharks for the final 2 years of his deal, but I don't see him walking away from the money. I just can't see it. Hey, Gregor, you're bang on. That concert is Bush, nowhere near sold out. So yeah, they could move it if need be. It'd have to happen. Hey guys, you think there's any chance that Frederick, because he isn't playing, increases the Oilers' chances of signing him? I don't know. It's a fair question. I can't say with any sort of certainty. I don't know if Trent Frederick is like, oh, geez, I really owe them something. Like, he was injured when he came here. They knew he was injured, and it was a high ankle sprain. And it's not like he didn't do everything in his power to get back healthy. It's a high ankle sprain. You know what it needs? It needs time. Time. And you can't speed that up as much as you like. I've said this many times. If I'm Trent Frederick, I'm 27. I'm as young as I can be as a UFA. How much more could I get in? Now, some team might be willing to pay you $4 million. And Edmonton's only going to pay, and I say only, 3.5. So then I look and say, okay, well, that's 10.5 million or it's 12 million. But if I play 3 years in Edmonton, and I'll have an opportunity, just look at the left wing depth chart, I'll have an opportunity to play with Draisaitl and McDavid if I play well. I'm not getting that opportunity on the team that's paying me $4 million. Like, at best, I might get to play with McKinnon, right? Maybe Matthews, but that's it. I don't have another guy. I don't have, none of those guys are McDavid. But you could argue they're equivalent to Draisaitl, probably below. So why would you do it? Right? If I'm Trent Frederick and I look at the organization, I look at the style of player I am, I believe in my skills, and I'm like, damn, this is where I want to be. A, I got a good chance to win. B, I got a really good chance for 3 years to put up some good numbers and then cash in again when I'm only 30 years of age. Because I can't see, like, is someone going to offer him $5 million? Like, would the offer elsewhere be that much higher? I don't think so. Now, maybe Edmonton's not 3.5. I just use that as a round number. Like, I look at Warren Fogle, who had 40 points, and he got 3.5 million. Trent Frederick is injured, and timing has something to do with it, but he was a 40-point player the year before. And Trent Frederick brings a tenacity and a physicality that Fogle doesn't bring. And that's why I think he could, even though he's had less points right now going into free agency, he's somewhat of a unicorn on the free agent market. That would get him, I think, close to Fogle money. So 3.5 mil. I'll tell you right now, if it was me, I would sign Trent Frederick for 3.5 million. No doubt in my mind. Wouldn't even hesitate. Would you? If the offer today was 3 years, 3.5 million for Trent Frederick, would you sign it? Because I get everybody's like, oh, I always want lower. That's not my question. My question is 3 years, 3.5. Yes or no? Would you sign it? 833-401-1440. We'll come back. We'll discuss that. And hey, buddy, we're talking playoffs. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
You know how you look forward to all your favorite sports coming back in the spring? Soccer, baseball, golf. Well, GS Construction looks forward to getting back to work with the warmer weather. We're all excited and geared up for this very busy time of year. The groundbreaking season is upon us, and GS Construction is ready to roll with all sorts of new projects. Projects that help the community and make the place we live in better. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Nuges Nuggets. This is Nuges Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of Nuges Nuggets.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now, for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of a Big Mac or a 10-piece Chicken McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. A Minecraft movie meal, available now at your local McDonald's. See it in theaters April 4th. Meal available for a limited time while supplies last at participating Canadian restaurants.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Drought Fighter and Disease Control are both included with every Green Drop program at no extra cost. Since 1979, Green Drop has been making beautiful weed-free lawns guaranteed. Book today.
Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and BCS Market Garden Equipment. Winter left a mess, and the Lawnmower Hospital brings you solutions. From BCS tillers and rotary plows to power harrows and two-wheel garden tractors that go places a traditional tractor wouldn't dare. You'll find everything BCS at the Lawnmower Hospital, including attachments, accessories, hitches, wheels, and tires, plus more. See lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hello, listening and watching. We appreciate it. As always, the Oilers traveling to San Jose, where Darnell Nurse has a hearing today, which to me, it's all but guaranteed. I think there's 2 cases where a guy had a hearing and didn't get suspended. It's rare, extremely rare, so most likely gets suspended. Now it's a matter of how many games. If you give him a playoff game, and lots of people argue, well, that's 2 regular season games. Some argue it's 3. Well, then that's essentially either 3 or 4 game suspension, which seems a tad over the top for that play. So I think he gets 1 game, which in the big scheme of life doesn't impact the team. It only impacts Darnell Nurse's wallet, and that's it. And I think he can afford it for 1 game. So there you go. We got a lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. How old's Frederick? He's 27. He just turned 27. That's why I'm saying it's a 3-year deal. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer for me. And most of you agree. Guys, I'd go as high as 3.8 from Trev. Sign me up 100% from Andrew. In a heartbeat, I do it. Can the Oilers afford it? Well, to me, you find ways to afford it. You're gonna move some guys around. 100%. You can move guys in and out. And, regardless of whether the Oilers, how deep they go in the playoffs or not, there's going to be some changes to this team. That's obvious. And so you can make some moves. That's your job as a GM. You can't say, geez, we got to lose Trent Frederick because you can't make any other moves. No, I get Trent Frederick and I figure it out. Now, you know what? Connor Brown, Corey Perry, are they all coming back? I don't know. They can't all come back. That's just the reality. We know Derek Ryan's not coming back. Kasperi Kapanen, UFA. We'll see. Thomas X already been signed. Pod Colson's $1 million guy. Good value, $1 million. Bring him in all day long. So we'll see. Now, you can get Connor Brown at around $1 million. Sign me up all day long. I'm not sure he would, though. Probably could get a little bit more. We'll see. Now, let's get to talking a little hoops as we get to our playoff report brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. And guess what? Truck month on now at your Alberta GMC dealers. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models. See more at gmccanada.ca. And the playoffs officially begin tonight in the association. The play-in games are on. Paul Sir joins us. Paul, you look at the play-in games, and it hasn't really ever changed much the last few years in the NBA for the most part. Right, 7 and 8 usually get in, not 100%, but usually they get in. Any reason to think if there was a 9 or a 10 team that's going to get in, which 9 or 10 team do you like?
Oh boy, that's a big if. The only team that the 9 or 10 that I think has a legitimate shot would be probably the Kings. I don't see the Bulls or the Heat. Well, I say that the East is pretty weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, like the Bulls or the Hawks. I could see that.
Yeah, that could happen. You're absolutely right. Bulls have been playing better. They're a little bit healthier going into that. Maybe the Bulls would be it. Heat showed a bit of some signs of life for a little bit, but I think Wiggins is still hurt. Without him, they're really not going to contend. But I think we're going to stick with pretty much the historical trend, Jason. None of the 9s and 10s impressed that much. I guess I'd put it that way.
Yeah. You look at the West and you got 8 teams with 48 wins. Like it is, it's pretty tough, obviously led by OKC. But then, from number 2 to number 8, they're separated only by 4 wins. Like they're really competitive. So you look at those series, and if there is no upsets, then it's OKC's going to take on Memphis. Golden State's going to take on the Rockets. Minnesota and the Lakers are obviously playing, and then the Nuggets and the Clippers, who have identical 50-win seasons, 32 losses. I know that Denver has a home court advantage, but the Clippers have won 8 in a row. Then you got the Timberwolves. Out of the Clippers, Timberwolves, Warriors, and Grizzlies, which one of those do you like best for the upset? Is it obvious to be the Clippers?
I wouldn't regard the Clippers win as an upset right now. Like the 5 versus 4, just for the reasons like you said, they have identical records, and the Clippers are playing well. They're healthy, and Jamal Murray's back. But I look at Denver, and even with the great Nikola Jokic, I just can't help but feel they're a bit vulnerable. If Murray's healthy though, and Jokic does what Jokic does, they very well could take the Clippers. But man, Kawhi Leonard is playing really well. And the chemistry that he has now with James Harden, who really seems to play extremely well off Kawhi. And then the ex-Raptor, Norm Powell. Wow, they're just a good team. So to me, that's a toss-up in that particular matchup. I like the Wolves. They seem to be playing well. I like the fact that they finished the season strong. Edwards, great, but they've been getting better play out of Randall, and DiVincenzo, the guys they traded for with the Knicks. So I think the Wolves could make a little noise again this year.
All right. In the East, though, you mentioned like the East is pretty weak after you get past the top few teams. Now the Detroit Pistons have had one of the greatest turnarounds in basketball, Paul, and it's a great story. They're taking on the Knicks. A lot of people think the Pistons might give the Knicks a run. What about you?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. The thing about the Pistons is they won 30 more games this year than last year. It's a remarkable turnaround. Kind of one of those borderline historic transformations that nobody expected. Nobody thought this team was going to be this successful this year. Knicks they're an odd one. Are we going to see the effect of not just the injuries that they've had to work through all year, but the often discussed way Tom Thibodeau plays his best players with heavy minutes through the regular season? That can come back to bite a team as they get into the playoffs. So I look for it to be a 6 or 7 game series. I still favor the Knicks because of their playoff experience, largely as well because of the playoff experience of Jalen Brunson. He's such a great closer. Mm-hmm. And I think he's that guy you want to have on your team when you get into the last minutes of the game. And I don't think, as great as Cunningham's been for Detroit, he's not at that level yet, I don't think. They're just so young, it's hard to measure how good they're going to be when this 7-game challenge that they are not familiar with at all is, they're thrust into that situation. You have to favor the Knicks slightly, I think.
What do you make of Detroit? Like, why such a quick, stunning turnaround? Like, I know Cunningham, lots of people love him, and he's great, don't get me wrong. But it's not just one guy. What's impressed you most about the Pistons?
Well, I think it's interesting. JB Bickerstaff got fired by the Cavaliers. Cavaliers then turn around, have a phenomenal season. Again, similar to Detroit, nobody expected this out of the Cavs this year. But in an odd way, it looks like JB Bickerstaff is the right guy in Detroit to galvanize this team. I think it's a combination of Bickerstaff's leadership, the chemistry and trust that the team seemed to build, and the maturation and growth of young players that last year lost a ridiculous number of games. But the odd part about all of their losses last year, Jason, is that many of them were close games. So it wasn't like they were getting blown out every night. They were losing in that massive losing streak they had. They were losing a lot of 2 to 6 point games in there. They were close. So it just looks like everything came together this year. And that's what has to happen for that kind of turnaround.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. Now, big news, Paul, locally in the WNBA draft, Alberta represented.
Absolutely. Yvonne Edgem, who I've had the pleasure of when I was at Alberta Basketball as the executive director. Yvonne played for our provincial team for many years. We got to see Yvonne grow up through the basketball community in Alberta and then go south of the border to Gonzaga, have an incredible career, and now get rewarded by being a third-round draft pick by the Indiana Fever. And boy, oh boy, Jason, I know we're all pulling for Yvonne to make that roster, have the opportunity to play with Caitlin Clark. Wouldn't that be something for a young woman from Alberta? Here's the asterisk. Yvonne's going to be a doctor one day. She's a brilliant person and a tremendous student. So I'm curious is if she, for whatever reason, doesn't make the Fever, does she just go on to medical school or does she continue her professional career overseas? I think the odds are, though, Yvonne's such a good player. I think the odds of her at least making the travel squad this year are very, very high. So everybody's pulling for Yvonne, and a great tribute to basketball in Alberta to have one of our athletes get drafted into the highest level of professional basketball.
Yeah, like what? Because getting drafted is one thing. Like, what do you think her odds are of playing?
I think honestly, I think the next year, I think it's a long shot. Okay. Yvonne is about 6'1", 6'2", very quick, very strong, really springy, great going to the basket, great finding the basketball. She really, really finds the basketball well in traffic, gets a lot of tough 50-50 rebounds. But one thing she doesn't do well, and at that size you have to, she doesn't shoot the three well. So I think her odds this year of playing on the main squad are pretty slim. I'm hoping she can be in the league to develop her game, but she may be able to make more money going overseas as well. So we'll see where this goes. The great thing is she was drafted, like you point out, Jason. But that's a tribute to her over her career, and it's also an inspiration, I think, in Alberta because we now have an athlete who did get drafted into the WNBA. We haven't had an NBA athlete have that happen. But what a great way to inspire young people in our province that you can attain this if you work really hard.
So when you say that, she could go to Europe and make more, how is the WNBA going to compete then maybe they can get some of their top stars, but if you have other draft picks that are like, well, I can go play over in Europe and make more money and refine my game, will we see them eventually coming back later, or does the NBA just have to continue to grow if they want to compete to keep all their top players?
Well, I think keeping the top players got easier, not because necessarily of the WNBA, because their salaries relative to the professional sports world are still very low. But the unrivaled league for the best players, and for those listeners who don't know what that is, it's a 3-on-3 full court league on a shortened court that was started this past spring. And the dollars that they're paying the WNBA players to play in the unrivaled league are much greater than they make in the WNBA. Paige Becker's just signed a 1-year deal in the unrivaled league that'll pay her more in one short 10-game season plus playoffs than she'll make in her 3-year contract with the WNBA. So it's going to be easier to keep the top players in North America. The thing about going overseas is you got to go overseas. And that's an acquired taste. For some players, they just want to stay home. They really don't want to go over and play in a foreign country. There's a lot of adaptation that has to take place. And a lot of organizations overseas, Jason, both on the men's and women's side, who may not have the best business practices. So it's a big commitment to go overseas, and it takes a special person to want to go do that. So I think it's probably easier now to keep people, as I said, in the WNBA, but that always will be there. If you can go over and double your salary playing in France or Germany, a lot of players are going to do that as well.
Yeah, and that makes sense. No question. I just, I look at it. It is a great sign because we've talked about this, a lot, Paul, that, basketball Alberta has grown, but you look at the growth of Canadians, for the WNBA and the NBA, and it's a lot of it's in Eastern Canada. Are you seeing more things at the grassroots level that we are eventually going to see a Canadian from Alberta in the NBA?
I think it'll happen, But to your point, most of the best players in Canada come from the East, in the GTA and Montreal. Dort and Gilgis Alexander are Montrealers. We still are behind in Alberta, bluntly put. I am not a strong supporter of a lot of what goes on in youth basketball development in Alberta. Long on sizzle, short on substance. Too much emphasis on gameplay, not enough emphasis on skill development. I mean, heck, look at Adam Silver and what he's looking at with the European club model right now. They're basically saying the AAU model in the U.S. isn't good enough, and the NBA is looking at getting involved in youth basketball development. And what I see in young players in Alberta, there's a lot of skill, but there's still sorely lacking in understanding how to play because of the way they're taught and the way they compete. So we still have a ways to go in Alberta to really raise that level up to that elite status that we need to get to.
Well said, Paul. Great stuff, man. What's coming up on the show this Saturday?
Going to have a lot of fun. Our good friend Avery here in town, Avery Sports, is going to come in, and we're going to talk some NBA playoffs. I'm hoping to have Sarat, who is Mayor Sohi's daughter, writes for The Ringer, come on as well. Ben Golliver is going to join me, break down the NBA, and we're trying to get Yvonne Edgemont and talk to Yvonne about what her thoughts are at this point after being drafted by the WNBA. So got a packed show.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. We'll be tuning in Saturday, 10 a.m. right here on Sports 1440. Thanks for your time.
Have a great day, Jason. Thank you.
That's Paul Sir from Basketball Alberta. When we return, your chance to qualify $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home in our Here Comes the Sun promotion coming up next.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then Turn it all the way up with Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say it's alright. Darling, it's been a long winter.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project service tag and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely Tuesday. Oilers into San Jose. They'll play tomorrow, but the big news tonight in the NHL, a few teams can punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Minnesota Wild, all they need is 1 point, and they will secure a playoff spot. So if they get to overtime against the Ducks, they're in. A regulation loss, and in theory, they could be out. Now, in order for that to happen, the Blues would need to win in regulation, and then Calgary would need to win both of their games in regulation to actually not even in regulation, just win both their games at any point, and then the Wild would be out. So the Wild win or get a point, and you're in. The Blues win in regulation, and you're in. If they win in overtime, it does open the door that the Flames will then have to win both of their games in regulation, and they would actually have 96 points, same as the Blues. And if the Flames, I should preface that by saying Calgary would have to win both of their games in regulation to move on. And they play Vegas tonight, and then they have the LA Kings on Thursday. So we'll see. Hey, Gregor, why wouldn't you sign Frederick for 5 years at 3.5? Because I don't think he would. It's kind of like a bridge deal almost, even though it's a UFA. Like someone might sign him for a little bit longer, like 4 for 5 years. But why would you take that if you're Frederick? If you could get 3.5 for 3, would I take 4 for 5? I know it's guaranteed money. It's more. But if I believe in myself, I'm only 27. I don't think Frederick's going to be out of the league in 3 years. He could, cap's going to go up a lot. He'd have a chance to play with McDavid and Draisaitl. I'd do it. Gregor, I wouldn't sign him until I know what his health is coming off the injury. Well, it's a high ankle sprain, and historically, high ankle sprains are not something that ruins someone's career. It just takes time to heal properly. And I'm guessing his is one that damaged both the front and the back on the heel, which makes it way worse. That's just a guess, though. Now, let's get to our Here Comes the Sun promotion. We do it every day up until, I got another, almost 5 weeks, just under. Started yesterday. Here's how it works. Each day we'll have a qualifier on the show. Then that qualifier, all you have to do, there's a few things. A, to qualify, you need to be a homeowner. You have to own your home. reside that home within a 50K radius of Edmonton. And you need shingles 12 years or newer. And the reason that is because they don't want to put this package. It's a massive package on a house that has 20-year shingles. And then you got to take it off. And well, now you're you're screwing yourself over because while you're winning, you're not going to save money because now you're going to have to take all that off to get rid of your shingles. So this way it lasts a lot longer. So shingles 12 years or newer. You do that, then you qualify if you get through. Now, their final step is very easy. You just have to write a paragraph as why you'd like it. Or this is where it comes a little fun. If you'd like, you can nominate someone and you can gift them the solar package for their home. Pretty nice. So today, very simple. You don't text in early because if any premature texts, you're disqualified. So make sure you get all the details correctly. You're going to text in the name of the pro sports team that has sun in their moniker, Connor Halley. I think you know who that is. There's only one. Not the Sunshine State, but the actual. You know how it was the Oilers? No, it's not. It's not the Flames. But there is one team in pro sports. Text in your name and the proper full name of said team who has the singular sun, even though their name is plural, right? Theirs is a plural name, but it has sun in it. I'm giving you a pretty easy hint. Cons, please tell me you know the answer.
Well, there is a team in pro sports that is singular.
But that says sun?
Yes. Yeah.
Who?
The Connecticut Sun of the WNBA.
No, we're talking. No.
You said pro. Hey.
Yeah, okay. We're talking the
I'm a stickler for the rules.
four. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. We'll go with the 4 major pro sports leagues in North America.
Okay, I got it.
NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB. Okay. Now do you know the team I'm talking about?
Lock it in.
Okay, you've got it locked in. So text in your name with that team. We will give you until the sports update to get in. So anybody listening online, you're listening on the app, you'll have time. Make sure you spell the name correctly because Connor is a stickler. If you do not spell it correctly, and trust me, people have incorrectly spelled this first name, the city of this team. So make sure you spell it correctly. And then we'll pick a random winner. And make sure to answer your phone during the commercial break. It'll come up as a private number because Connor he's a big deal now. He has a private number. You get a private number calling you. I know normally you just want to spam it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Your name and the name of the team in the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, who has sun in their moniker. Well, there you go. I see a few misspelled names, Connor. Oh. You know what? Before you hit send, double check. Double check. So there you go. A few other news and notes from around the NHL. Connor Carrick has been recalled on an emergency basis by the Edmonton Oilers. Defenseman Darnell Nurse has a hearing. 1 + 1, I think it equals 2. I think I could see a suspension coming for Darnell Nurse. It should only be a game. If it's more than a game, because that includes a playoff game, then that's a significant. Then you're talking minimum 3 games if you value 1 playoff game to 2 regular seasons. Some people say a playoff game is worth like 3 regular season games in a suspension. So if Nurse gets 1 playoff game and 1 regular season game, that's like 4. It just seems too much to me. Like 1 game, it seems kind of obvious if they're going to do it. I wasn't sold that it was suspendable for me, but clearly the NHL differs. Trenton didn't get anything. Different situation, I understand it, but still. So if you're looking for, quote, cheap shot, I would think that Trenton would qualify as a cheap shot. But maybe it was because it was from a tilt. Who knows? But either way. So remember, text in your name and the name of the NBA city and moniker that has sun in it. And you'll be qualified to go into the draw, and somebody's going to win. And you'll enter then to win the $15,000 turnkey solar system courtesy of Action Electrical. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Hey, Gregor, do you think the Oilers are going to play shorthanded again tomorrow? Well, they're recalling Connor Carrick, so he can come up. That means they'll still have 6 defensemen. Then they have 11 healthy forwards. Connor McDavid is healthy enough to play. It's do they want to play him? If it's me, I'm playing Connor McDavid. I want to give him the opportunity to get 100 points. I don't think playing Connor McDavid 50 minutes against the San Jose Sharks is that risky. Heck, if it's 70 minutes, I don't think it is. I never worry about the injuries can happen at any time. Right? When you played certain players, we better not play him in game 61. He could get hurt. He could get hurt in game 14. He can get hurt in game 4 and get hurt in game 82. Get hurt at any point. So to me, the fact that he needs 1 point to get to 100 for the 5th consecutive season, or the 8th time in his career, join an even more exclusive club than he's already in, I'm doing it. But that's just me. I'm a big believer in history. And when you look back on it, Connor McDavid, who is in the Hall of Fame, but there's something different about if this is another step to all of a sudden he gets 10 years of 100 points. Right? Then you're in Lemieux Gretzky category. And he has a very good chance to pass Lemieux. It's pretty damn impressive. So that's why if it's me, I'm playing him. So there you go. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Mix it up with Booster Juice and their 2 new Booster Mixers, the Zesty Berry Booster Mixer and the Bango Mango Booster Mixer. Download the Boosters Reward app and enjoy them today.
The Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have recalled defenseman Connor Carrick from the Condors on an emergency basis. The Oilers wrapping up their regular season tomorrow night in San Jose. Speaking of the Sharks, Logan Couture confirming his playing days are over, saying physically he's unable to continue. Couture was the Sharks' first pick in 2007, finishes his career with 933 games played, 323 goals, and 701 points. And Winnipeg Jets forward Nikolai Ehlers has been ruled week to week with a right foot injury just before the playoffs start. The 29-year-old winger had 24 goals and 39 helpers in 69 games this season. On the ice tonight, it is a busy one. The Devils in Boston, Sabres host the Leafs, Blackhawks taking on the Sens, Lightning meet the Panthers. You got Utah in St. Louis, Wild host the Ducks, Golden Knights in Calgary, and the Kraken hosting the LA Kings. In the association, we've got play-in games getting going at 5:30. The Magic will host the Hawks, and at 8 o'clock, Grizz head to the Bay Area taking on the Warriors in their matchup. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays once again hosting the Atlanta Braves. First pitch set for 5:07 in this one. You've also got the Royals in the Bronx taking on the Yankees, Mets, and Twins. White Sox host the Athletics, Cubs in San Diego, and the Dodgers host the Rockies. WHL action tonight. We've got 2 games. At 7, Hurricanes host the Hitmen. Lethbridge lead that series 2-0. And then at 8 o'clock, Winterhawks taking on the Silver Tips. Tips lead 2-0 in that series. And Greg Ellingson announcing his retirement from the CFL after a 10-year career, including 2 seasons with the Green and Gold. The 2-time Grey Cup champion was an all-star on 4 separate occasions. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk to Minnesota Wild with Sarah McClellan, look around the NHL with Jason Strudwick, and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Nuges Nuggets. This is Nuges Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of Nuges Nuggets.
Tasting just the right. You can order noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle-noodle.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. This Edmonton-based tournament pairs hockey fans with some of their favorites from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend featuring a champions luncheon and tournament. Teams are already fundraising in the community, enabling the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories to continue providing help for today through free education programs and support services, and hope for tomorrow through research. For more information or to learn how you can get involved, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, stop pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh yeah, save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Just after 4 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Sports1440.ca. Thanks for listening and watching. Gregor Show, as always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where they can you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor100. That's Gregor100 when you make a deposit. Get a little extra bonus. Good luck. Don't waste it in one place. PlayAlberta.ca. And many of you, not many, we had a few people write in Phoenix Suns, F-E-N-I-X. No, but it was the Phoenix Suns. We did actually have a few people said Jacksonville. I guess there is a sun in Jackson, but it's not spelled S-U-N. It's S-O-N. And that's not their moniker. That's the city. So Phoenix Suns was the correct answer. Most of you got it. We did have a few incorrect P-H-E-O-N-I-X. It's a tough one. But we do have a winner. Qualifier today to get in the draw to win a $15,000 turnkey solar system courtesy of Action Electrical. Mark, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hello. Thank you. I'm just absolutely floored that
I'm way out in the middle of nowhere in the Peace Country, and I got reception.
Oh, well, there you go. I love it. Well, hey, you're listening in. We appreciate that. And do you you're a homeowner? What are you doing in the Peace Country right now? Are you working?
I am working. I'm one of the people that would gift it to somebody.
Oh, do you know who you're? I don't want to give it away. So you'd have someone in mind that they're a homeowner. They live close to Edmonton.
Oh yeah, she's building a new house. Cancer survivor.
Oh wow, well, that's a great story. Well, awesome. Well, hey man, you're in the draw. Fantastic. And Connor will get all your information. And the final step is you send in an email to Action. We'll send you all the details, and that gets you into the draw. And then we do the draw on Friday, the 20. Oh, I better get the right date. I better look at my calendar. It is Friday, May 23rd is when we will do the draw live in the show. And you'll be in the draw, so good luck.
That's spectacular. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. So there you have it. I love it. Diehard listeners taking the show with you on the app, listening on the radio. Fantastic. So tomorrow, 4:00, your next chance to qualify for Here Comes the Sun, a $15,000 solar system for your home, courtesy of Action Electrical. It's great. Now, we are going to go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical. Of course, they are one of Alberta's most diversified electrical contractors. And they also, they love giving back. They do a ton of charitable stuff in the community, and they're giving back to our audience with a $15,000 package. It's unreal, courtesy of Action Electrical. So tonight in the NHL, some key games. Oiler fans, nothing that impacts you directly, but maybe indirectly. Maybe you have some friends who are Flame fans, and maybe you're just waiting to give them that little enjoy golf again. Well, the Flames, they'll be playing themselves. They need a win, but their win won't matter if the Wild get a point and the Blues win in regulation. Then both of them will punch their ticket to the playoffs. The Minnesota Wild, kind of like the Oilers, man, they have been decimated by injuries, but they are getting some players back. Most recently, they got Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek. Middleton is back, and that makes them a much better team. Sarah McClellan joins us, beat reporter for the Minnesota Wild, and they're in a must-point situation. They don't need a win, but that would make it easier. They're hosting the Ducks tonight. Sarah, injuries have been a big problem for the Wild. They had an unreal start, 18-4-4, and then it was just walking wounded all year long. Kaprizov missed half the season. You look at this game tonight where they control their destiny. That game in Vancouver, really the third period, like they played like a team that was like, we got to get to the playoffs. Do you expect them to carry that over to tonight?
Yeah, that was probably the best launching pad they could have to go into this type of game, because they finally, it looked like, had the urgency that was clearly missing and the desperation in their game the night before in Calgary, where, that was a game too. They could have just won and clinched and moved on and had an opportunity to rest some players and not have game 82 mean so much. But they did finally find that gear, obviously, in the third period to come from behind and then win in overtime. So if that's fresh in the minds, that's what they need to bring. And you're right, it'll kind of be a new look Wild again in game 82, because for the first time since November, they have everybody available. That hasn't happened in such a long time. So obviously better late than never for them, especially, potentially on the cusp of the playoffs. But still, yeah, an important opportunity for them to at least just solidify this, take care of business, not have to scoreboard watch, not have to see it potentially come down to Calgary's final game Thursday. And you're right. I think, when you look back at 18-4-4, that team, you probably, wonder what happened if they needed game 82 to get into the playoffs, because they led the league, at one point in mid-December, but still with all they've, had to go through injury-wise and missing Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek for so much time. And this was a team that didn't make the playoffs last year, and it obviously returned its core and most of its lineup. I think when you take kind of that bird's eye view, this was still, a solid season for the team and a step in the right direction after last year.
So you mentioned first time since November. Jared Spurgeon, local guy from Edmonton, had a scary situation last game. How's his throat now? Was it a stick or was it the elbow that got him?
So it was an elbow. Initially, it sounded like it was a puck, but then he clarified today it was an elbow that got him. And he kind of got through the shift, but then afterwards, Obviously started to kind of feel a little, woozy on his feet and just kind of like wobbly. And so he left that game and then actually came back and played and then left again and obviously sat out Saturday against Vancouver, but he returns tonight. So yeah, just kind of a scary situation, just when, you're talking about not being able to maybe breathe right and feeling lightheaded. So he comes back. He obviously just missed that one. And Jake Middleton, you mentioned, he returns. He hasn't played since the beginning of the month after he got boarded against the Islanders. So the blue line, as much as they've missed Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek, the blue line has kind of been in flux most of the year with injuries that they've had, players coming in and out. And now you add Zeev Buyam into the mix. He won't make his NHL debut tonight, but obviously an intriguing possibility if they do move on.
So that was my question. Buyam's not playing, and I know that the Wild, they really like their veteran third pair. And right, so do you see that changing at all?
So yeah, they're very role based on their blue line. So that's why, like, when they're healthy, a case like tonight, a Declan Chisholm, he's a healthy scratch because he's more suited to playing on the second pairing with like a Brodin or a Spurgeon. So they kind of keep that veteran third pairing locked in with Zach Bogosian and John Merrill. Having said that, I mean, we'll see. You never know the dynamics of a playoff series. If it is in fact Vegas, if the Wild lock up that first wild card and they play Vegas, that was a very difficult matchup for them this season. They lost every game they played against the Golden Knights. So if it gets to a point where they need a new wrinkle, they maybe need some power play help, which Buyam could really help them with potentially. I think there's that possibility. But I wouldn't be surprised, just to see if they kind of stick with the crew that got them here, right, especially since everyone is very solidified in their role. But having said that, this is the most hyped about prospect in recent memory, maybe since Kaprizov for this team, in Buyam coming off, a national championship at Denver, making it back to the Frozen Four this year, a Hobey Baker Award finalist. There's a lot of interest and buzz about him. And so I'm not sure, how long they can probably keep him on the sidelines. But tonight, it's been a whirlwind for him, even just to get him into the mix for a practice and systems and video. It makes sense why they'd want to wait. But that's an intriguing possibility, I think, for sure, if their season extends.
Well, yeah, there's lots of reasons to be excited. It is difficult, though. I know we've seen some rookie defensemen come in and play great, and maybe he will. But I could see them saying, "Hey, we'll give our veterans a chance, and then maybe if we're down a game, then maybe we'll insert them." So it would be interesting. Now, with all their forwards back, what's their best top six combination? Like Zuccarello and Kaprizov, are they automatically together? What do you think is their best? I know it hasn't happened a lot this year to see them, but what do you think is their ultimate top two forward lines?
It will be interesting to see if they reunite and stick together because they were split up. And last game against Vancouver, it started with Matt Foley, with Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov. And that was a very dominant line for the Wild last season. Even as they went on to miss the playoffs, that line cruised and really dictated for them in the second half. So there's some chemistry and history there. That would obviously be a potential. But then you have Matt Zuccarello, also definitely a top six forward. Marco Rossi has played consistently up the middle for them this season, a 20-goal scorer. And then, someone who's played lately in the top six is Marcus Foligno. And it'll be interesting to see if he stays there or if he's moved maybe to a third line to give a little bit more physicality on a third line that maybe gets more of a checking line role in the playoffs. But the way he plays, the way he's able to get on the forecheck, be physical, go to the net, I think that actually helps their goal scorers. That actually I think helps accentuate their skill. He worked really well lately with Boldy in particular. Him and Rossi were together right before Kaprizov returned. So it'll be interesting to see if he sticks, especially his style of game, that heady forechecking style, but still can get up ice, still move around, and also be very stingy. He's one of the best shutdown wingers. He's not a center, but one of the best shutdown forwards in the league. If you really break down his numbers, teams don't generate a lot against him. So it'd be interesting to see if they want to put him in more of a matchup role. come playoff time, or stick him in that top 6 and let him open up ice and create lanes and opportunities for his line mates. He's really warranted this jump up the depth chart lately. So it'll be interesting to see kind of, he feels like an X factor potentially for them where they slot him.
Now, the Ducks got nothing to play for. Dostal's been unreal. We've seen him steal games. He's done it twice against Edmonton. He's done it against a lot of other teams. The Wild's offense, obviously without all their guys, they didn't score a ton. But you look at the Ducks, and I don't know, when you talk to the players today, what concerns them about this Anaheim team?
I think just their youthful energy, and there's talent there too. And I think you're right too. The fact that, they know what's at stake for them, their future is set. They can play free and loose to their identity. They can get up ice, but they are a handful. Like you mentioned, especially Oilers fans would know they're a tough out, and they can be pesky too. So I think especially maybe the experience the Wild has had in the last couple weeks, I think even back to, like I mentioned, when Middleton was hurt against the Islanders, that was kind of a New York team at the time that was really sputtering, and they outplayed the Wild. And so I think the Wild has reason to kind of be leery and cautious of everybody right now, just the way it's been, especially again, like knowing what was at stake in that Calgary game last Friday, not getting the type of performance they'd expect from themselves in a game where they could have really just locked this up. So I think they're aware of that, and just know that, there's no easy opponents any night in this league, but this is a team with some youthful energy, speed, and talent, and they have to be aware of that. Their track record is good against Anaheim,
okay.
But obviously, anything can happen, and especially we've seen, I think some of these teams have relished the spoiler role this time of year.
Well, Sarah, we look forward to it. It's always exciting. It's kind of like a playoff game, really. If the Blues and Wild, they approach it as a playoff performer, they're in, and then Calgary will be left looking on the outside. But if either one of them falters, then the door is open for the Flames to skate their way through. So it should be a lot of fun. Enjoy. It should be an unreal atmosphere in Minnesota tonight as they hope to get back to the playoffs.
Thank you. Take care.
You betcha. There's Sarah McClellan, longtime beat reporter for the Minnesota Wild. Shaxy from Edmonton. So good to see Sarah doing very well. When we return, Jason Strudwick will join us. We'll talk about the Nurse situation. What do we get for a suspension? Are we all in favor? Do we think it's a game? You don't have a hearing, and I'll look it up and I'll find the exact cases, but I can remember 2, I think. One for sure where a guy had a hearing but didn't get suspended. But it is very, very rare. Usually it means a suspension. Would it mean a 2-gamer, which would mean game 1 of the playoffs? That seems a little harsh to me. We'll find out where Strud comes out on that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixers for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Zesty Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now, for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of a Big Mac or a 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. A Minecraft movie meal, available now at your local McDonald's. See it in theaters April 4th. Meal available for a limited time while supplies last at participating Canadian restaurants.
Spring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Get up to 35% off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Get a king for the price of a queen on select mattresses. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 or more major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick. Proudly Canadian since 1971.
For a rock-solid start on all your spring and summer projects, Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete to septic tanks, precast water pads to outhouses, plus aggregates, landscaping supplies, and more. Renos Construction. Start planning right now at BashawConcrete.com or call 780-372-3854. That's 780-372-3854. Family owned and operated, proudly serving Albertans since 1963. Bashaw Concrete Products.
Struggling to make ends meet? You're not alone. Many people are facing tough times and finding it hard to afford the essentials. I'm hearing from people experiencing this every day. My name is Parveen Middleton. As a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO in Edmonton, I'm here to help you take control of your finances with a solution made just for you. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
No more very bad silence.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. You can visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.424, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As it's let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, innovative market leader. Have the Spruce Grove Saints, of course, HSL. Then now they have the Female Super League, the Seattle Thunderbirds, and have a new a facility coming, Spruce Grove as well. So check it out. For good friends and huge supporters of local hockey at Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. It's time for Struds On.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I guess if you hand me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing?
Great. How are you making out, buddy?
Oof. Pretty good, man. Pretty good time. Sports fans, lots going on. I love it. Any sport you want, you can watch right now. It's fantastic. And, of course, playoffs. Got a play-in game tonight in the NBA. MLB, if that tickles your fancy. NHL playoffs are right around the corner. We got the NFL draft coming up, CFL. We have the WNBA draft. It's a good time for sports, man. It's good. The Masters. Woo! That was quite the event. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah. How could you not?
Yeah.
I think either one. I would have been happy with either one of those winning. I saw that full swing, and there's Justin Rose on there. He came off really well. I was hoping for him as well, but Rowie won. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, wow. The way he won, like for a guy who's been battling that and chasing that, and looks like he lost, and then he was winning, then he lost, and you're like, what? There was a high range of emotion in that game. Now speaking of emotion, what did you make of the Nurse play when you saw it in real time?
Yeah, real time, it looks pretty bad. There's no doubt about it. And then you kind of see it in slow motion. And I thought it doesn't look quite as bad in slow motion. I think it's more of a push and a total cross check when he's on the ice. Byfield's on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what it made me think of? So I didn't think he was going to get suspended. I don't think he should get suspended. I
agree.
Thought that the 5 minute was enough, and he moves on from there. But the more I think about it, Greg, it's kind of my thought process. You remember a number of years ago, when Darren Hatcher absolutely rocked Jeremy Roenick. And I think that's the other one in the Stanley Cup. And he got suspended. Like, it was a high elbow. I remember it behind there. It just blew him up and got suspended. And I wonder if Darnell wasn't just sending a note to LA Kings saying this isn't going to be fun for you, right? You think you're going to come, but this is going to be fun. Now, the problem is if you get suspended for a playoff game, especially with that call out, that sends a bad message to his own teammates, because now they can't have their, arguably their best defenseman out there. So I don't think it should be suspended. I think what he got was fine, and the fine would have been where it's at. I'll be very interested to see if it's more than one game. I look at what Luke Trennan did to Derek Forbort when he was on the ground in a vulnerable position and punched the guy, and I don't think he even got a dirty look from the NHL player safety. So I don't know how the two cannot be a little bit compared just as far as outcome of the injury to the player.
I would agree. I saw it last night. I'm like, oh yeah, Nurse, he got a game misconduct already from the game. I was like, oh, he'll get a fine. Well, it looks like he's going to get a fine, because usually when you get a hearing, Struds, you're getting suspended. And I think it was David Perron who had a hearing but didn't get suspended, and that's it. So it doesn't happen very often. And if it's a one-game suspension, that really, the only thing that hurts is Nurse's wallet book. Yeah. And away they move on. But it would seem odd to me, because the Trennan one, you look at like Alex Pietrangelo got one playoff game for what he did to Leon Draisaitl. I don't think this was as bad as that. And that was one playoff game, never mind more. So I would be surprised if it's more than that. And if it is, it's a huge blow for a team that's already decimated by injury. So I want to ask you about the blue line, Struddy. And we know that Ekholm's out, and he's out for the first 2 rounds for sure, maybe the whole playoffs. What would your 3 pairs to start be if you're Paul Coffey?
Yeah, what a change. You thought you'd have this massive top 5, and now you don't. Okay, I'm going to assume that Stetcher's healthy here, Greg, just to keep this simple. So I'm going to go Nurse Bouchard. I'm going to go, Nurse Bouchard. And then I guess, after that, it becomes a big mission match, but probably Kulak and probably Emberson, and then the other 2, Wallman and Stetcher. That's probably my 4.
So you're gonna go. You're gonna go lefty righty on each one, okay? Because I could see them maybe having Stetcher and Emberson as their third pair, and kind of split their time. Their third pair guys, they'll play 11, 12 minutes, and some will be together, and some will be separate with the lefty righty coming out of penalties and power plays and such.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to say you're wrong there either. I mean, in my vision with the five, it would have been the five guys mix and matching, and then you would have had the
Yes.
sixth guy dropped in.
Totally agree.
Now it's a little bit different. So it might be, maybe start the game like I'm talking about. Then depending on the game goes, you shrink it down, and then those guys get a little bit more spot duty. But it's going to tax those guys. Now, I think when Kulak plays more, he just gets in game mode and he just rolls.
Yeah.
He's so strong, such a good skater. No concern about him playing more. Darnell Nurse, same thing. When he's in his zone and he starts playing more, he's a machine. He can go. Bouchard, we've seen him play high minutes, so he can do it. Wallman's for me the wild card. I haven't watched him enough, and I don't think he's been enough playoff series to know, can he go 25 plus minutes in the playoff series? Because there'll be times in the game where you're going to drop everyone and just go with those four.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of hockey for guys to play. And you can do it the game one. Let's say game one's a 3-2, whatever, overtime loss, or win. I don't care, whatever it is. Can he bounce back now 2 days later and get after it and do it again? Can he do it again? Like, I'm not saying he's not in shape, but it's a lot. We've seen the other three guys do it. Can he do it? Because that's the problem now. That come out, you don't have that safety valve to drop someone, and you still have five.
No, it's totally valid. And with that, Evander Kane, everything he said to me is I believe Evander Kane's going to play in game one. So you look at the forward group, and McDavid's going to be healthy. Hyman's going to be healthy. Draisaitl's going to be healthy. So I look at their forward group. I think they'll have them in. Do you play Hyman with McDavid, or do you keep McDavid, Brown, and Skinner for game one?
Well, those guys are playing well, and so why not leave them together? And if McDavid, to me, he looks so energized and so ready to go that you could play him with a garbage can and myself, and he'd probably do fine, right? Like that's where he's at. So I think I would leave those three guys together, and then after that, it gives you so many options to do what you want to do. How do you want to play it after that? Do you put Draisaitl back with Podkolzin and Arvidsson because they had some success, and then all of a sudden Nugent Hopkins is with Hyman and maybe Kane. Maybe that's although Hyman and Kane, I don't necessarily love those two guys together, but it just gives you so many options if that's what you do with Connor's line. And that's probably how I'd handle it. How would you take a look at this?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. Like, Connor Brown's been on a heater lately, but historically he doesn't score as much as Hyman, right? And like I look at that play last night, that cross crease pass, he's right down low, and Kemper gets a stop to stone him. And you're kind of like, man, you might not get many chances. Do I want a guy who doesn't have a history of finishing those chances? So I'd probably still go Hyman with McDavid. I'd keep Skinner there to start. And I would actually put Kane in game one with Draisaitl. And then I might even put Connor Brown on that line. And then I'm going to keep Nugent Hopkins with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. Because Arvidsson and Podkolzin seem to play well. Nugent's played with them. And you can switch Draisaitl. But like Evander Kane for one game, I just think his first few games started, you know how it is, adrenaline, right? You can get by in the adrenaline for the first few. And I think he can. And Kane is definitely an infinitely better finisher than Podkolzin.
Oh, for sure. And like the challenge here for you and I and for everyone listening is to try to figure out, what is Kane going to be? What did they see in practice? What did they see? What is he saying to the trainers or to the coaching staff? Like, give me it. I can play 15, 17 minutes, because he is such a wild card. If he comes out and plays like even close to what he can as far as intimidating, they need that. They need him to go and run Drew Doughty. They need him to get after Mikey Anderson. Like, that is what he does. And that's, unfortunately for Kane, he's a one-man army now because you don't have Trent Frederick. You were going to have that two-headed monster, which would have been great because one of them would have been on the ice 50% of the time. Then you got Darnell Nurse, then you got Paul Colvin, you got Arvidsson who plays hard, Leon who's not fun, Connor runs guys sometimes. Now you got a lot of people who are doing it, but Kane is the head. He's going to be by himself. So I have no idea what you can predict, but honestly, at this point, you can almost tell me any combination, and I think it can happen. But I still think I might keep that top line together, of Skinner and Brown. Unfortunately, we won't know because there's no ramp-up game with San Jose. Sounds like it's going to be kind of thin.
Yeah. Now, that leads me to my next question. If you're the head coach, Connor McDavid needs 1 point to get to 100. He'd be only the fourth player in NHL history to have 8 100-point seasons. And I know someone say, the Stanley Cup's more important. I get that. I totally get it. But at the same time, your best player who's done a lot for your organization, it's a pretty big milestone. Would you play McDavid tomorrow night?
You have to balance individual accolades with the team accolades. And sometimes both are okay to chase. Look at Ovi and what he did this year. Now, that's an incredible milestone that Ovi accomplished. But what Connor can do with 1 point against a very weak team is really important to his legacy. It might not be important to him right now, but it's important to his legacy. And as a coach, you have to respect that. So what I would say, start Connor McDavid. As soon as he gets a point, you're done. And you just sit down.
Totally
you just sit him down.
Yes.
And you talk to him and you say, Connor, listen, I get it. This is important to you. We want you to get this point. But your health is important to us for the playoffs. So that's why you're going to be done. And he'll argue and he'll say, I want to help the team. And like, Connor, I understand everything you're saying, but we're going to get what you need. And we want you to get that. This isn't you being selfish. We want you to get this, but we want you to go into the game one healthy of the playoffs. And I think that's the compromise. And I think everyone can win there.
Yeah, and that's exactly, Struds, you're thinking exactly the same as me. To me, this is I love how you put that, where you said, it's maybe not today, but you like a milestone long-term. This just gets them another step closer to getting 10. And then you're in Lemieux and Gretzky category. And you know what? Because there's going to be a small percent. Oh, well, because there's no guarantee he'll ever win a cup. There isn't a guarantee. And if he sits out the game, it doesn't mean they win the Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing to me. So, whenever it says, oh, it's only the cup that matters, I'm like, well, it can't just be the cup.
No.
Right? You have to look at all the other things. In the San Jose Sharks, there's two things. A, they're out of the playoffs. B, they're a really young team, not a physical team, not an aggressive 100%. Team, right? Like, and you know what? McDavid could get a point in the first 6 minutes and then be like, here you go, buddy. And you know what? Maybe say, hey, we'll just play on the power play the rest of the game, whatever, just because you want to touch the puck. Because here's the other thing. Connor has been very vocal many times. He plays better when he gets into a rhythm. His words, not mine. And I know, he just sat out and he came in 3 games. He looked great, right? But it took him a half that first game to really look great. Yeah. So, because if he doesn't play tomorrow, then he's sitting out a week before the playoffs start. And I don't think they want to do that.
No, and so, just going back to the thing with Connor, is it, as a coach and as a team, a manager of a historical player, you need to manage that, right? You need to manage that. And not in a bad way, not that he's hard to manage, but you have to manage and understand where he fits in the history of hockey. You have to give him a chance to do that. So I would be floored and disappointed if Connor McDavid is not in the lineup tomorrow because of what all we just talked about. But that's a tough place for a coach, but a coach has to understand that that's what it's about. So, Leon will say, I want to play. Sorry, Leon, you're not playing. You've got your 50th goal. And, you're good. You're going to sit out this one. But Connor's going to play because of this reason. Mm-hmm. And you're right. San Jose's not a physical team. Like, who's going to run them? Like, who's going to make it rough? So I think it's a low risk, but with an important reward for the team and for Connor McDavid getting that one more point.
Yeah, and I think, as a member, if I'm a teammate, like, Strutty, you played some pretty great. Like, you want to see him get that, right? You're just like, right? Because those guys are humble and whatever. But if I'm a team and I'm like, you kidding me? You're going to be trying to feed him as much as you can to get that 100 points, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, oh he will, And the game doesn't matter. They win or lose, who cares? But so you're going to be probably overpassing to him, right? But that's fine. Listen, this has been a really, unfortunate is probably the wrong word, but a really weird way to end the season with so many injuries and so many question marks for the Oilers. Once they start game 1 of the playoffs, it's going to be like a new season. They're going to get through this game, then they're going to start new on whatever day, on the weekend, end of the weekend. Then they'll get after it. And it's not perfect. It's not ideal. But get Connor what he wants and what he needs, and then you move on, and then you reset. Everyone gets in playoff mode starting Thursday morning at 8 a.m. when they fly to whatever, LA, and then you start that series and you get ready to go.
Jason Gregor joins us here, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Did you see anything from the Kings last night? That look at that 5-forward power play, Strutty. You're a penalty killer. Kempe at the top. How would you change your penalty kill to adapt to that?
Well, Rob Brown, I don't often give him credit, but he made an interesting point that if they're going to go with 5 power play forwards, what I do is I sneak Leon and Connor out there on the penalty kill every now and then, because it's going to, sooner or later, one of those guys is going to find opportunity to expose one of those D-men, and that Connor Brown can't do or Janmark can't do. You put them out there every now and then, maybe the last 30 seconds or last 45 seconds, or maybe start them one time. Just throw them off because, holy geez, Connor McDavid's out here or Leon Draisaitl when we get a chance. And that's one. Number 2, I don't know if you noticed, but basically their top 3 forwards in their power play, also their top 3 penalty killing forwards. which to me is really interesting because that leaves a lot of guys on the bench without a role. And you and I have talked many times about people getting involved in the game and how it's important for them. So I think that you have to make sure that you wear them down and make it hard on them, right? And I know it's easy to say, but you've got to try. You've got to try to make it hard for them on the penalty kill, on the power play, then 5-on-5, lean on them, extra bumps, falling on them every now and then, just to make it a long series. And that may pay off, not in game 2, but it might get you to game 6 and 7. Wear them down there. But yeah, Kempe is a really good player. I actually think he's underrated in the NHL. And the way he works that blue line, he's very aware. He's strong. We saw him take a one-on-one. I think it was against Janmark and absolutely rocked him.
Yeah, the big hip check.
Which was pretty awesome.
Well, the thing I did notice, though, that the Oilers, once they got the puck strutty, their forwards didn't just ice it. And that's, to me, that's, if I have the puck and I know I got time, I want to attack. And Kempe had that nice hip check. Now I can be ready for it. If I'm a forward, I'm going to use a strutty line. Never trust a forward in the defensive zone. Well, if I got these guys, 2 of them playing a 2-on-2, they don't know what they're doing. Right? And that's where I would, to me, like the Oilers penalty kill last year was monstrous in the playoffs because they scored so many shorthanded goals, right? And they didn't give up anything. And that's the one thing that I looked at that said, okay, you know what? They're going to get some shots. They move it around. But when we get the puck, we got to be aggressive and we really got to attack.
No, that's a really good point. And that's, it's important to find ways to take advantage of something that someone else do, take advantage of you. And when you take a 2-on-2 with a forward, they have no idea what they're doing. Because if you cross and drop, one's going to stay with you, another one's going to go with you, right? So they're both going to take, and there's some confusion. And that's why I think like Rob Brown is right. I'd put Connor Leon out there every now and then just to throw it off, and the chance you can get one. Let's say you get down, 3-2, the middle of the second period, you get a penalty kill. Okay, first group goes out, then we're running out these guys being Connor and Leon.
It's not bad. I love the fact that they're playing 4 years in a row. I know some people are worried about it. I think it's great. I think it's going to be intense. And the Oilers know they can win. The Kings have to convince themselves they can win. And that's going to be the mental battle of this series.
Yeah, and Quinton Byfield, man, you know how I feel about him. I think he's such a good player. I think he's the wild card out there. You know what you're getting from Fiala, from Kempe, Kopitar, Drew Doughty. But if he can lift his game, he being Quinton Byfield, because he's big and fast and strong and can score. Like if he can raise his game and compete at the highest levels with the highest players, I think he's the ultimate wild card in this series, along with Kemper.
Strutty, should be fun. We will chat with you again next Wednesday. Have a good one. Or sorry, next Tuesday. Have a good one.
Can't wait, boys. Talk to you later.
There you go. That's Jason Strutta, co-host of the Got Your Back podcast. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And I saw it in the second and third period. The one thing when the Fords get a turnover, they weren't just icing the puck. They're going to try to attack. Now, obviously, being on the ice for too long, maybe you wouldn't. But to me, that's a strategy that you got to go after. You want to attack those guys. Yeah, let's see, though. Can he do it? Can he do a lateral crossover? Can he go side by side? Clearly, if you want to go down the boards, he'll surprise you with a hip check. Great. Now, most guys should be aware of it now. What about a stutter step? Now, how does he attack if all of a sudden you're changing directions? Get some deception. These are just plays that most forwards never practice. Very few guys. Now, Sergei Fedorov was the one forward who played defense and did it very well. He just seemed to be seamless at it. Most of those other guys, it's not natural. And that's an area that you're going to try to expose if you're the Oilers. Should make it fun. The game within the game, shall we say. Come back with 5 questions. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll keep your text coming in, 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Nuges Nuggets. This is Nuges Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, I don't know, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of Nuges Nuggets.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. The matchup is set, and it's time to lock in your round 1 seeds for the Stanley Cup playoffs. All potential home games are now on sale at edmontonoilers.com/tickets. Get yours before they're gone.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, Instagram, sports1440.ca, on the app, wherever you are, wherever you listen to the show, listen, watch, download. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for spending time with us on the show. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick Mattress Store. Let their experts help you get the sleep that you need. No more waking up tired. No more waking up with a sore neck. wake up refreshed at the Brick Mattress Store.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, going into tomorrow's game against the Sharks, how many players come in, how many players come out versus the lineup we saw last night against the Kings?
I'm going to say 2. Carrick will come in for Nurse, and McDavid comes in for the vacant forward spot.
The open
sorry, and Stuart Skinner is obviously going to play in goal.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to add there. Those swaps for sure. And yeah, maybe Carrot coming out with for Nurse. Question number 2 for you. Official prediction time. What's going to happen when the Department of Player Safety meets with the Oilers blue liner?
I think Nurse is going to get a suspension. I don't think it should be a suspension, but I think he's going to get a suspension. So, and it should only be 1 game. If it's anything more than that, it defies logic to me, honestly. How can he get multiple games, including a playoff game? That wouldn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 1 game would be fair. The optics maybe not great. Cross-check to the guy who's down on the ice, but go more than that to me would be too much. So I say 1 game suspension for Darnell Nurse, and he's probably okay with it, other than the money loss. Question number 2 for you. Vegas tonight going to sit Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Alex Pietrangelo, Noah Hannafin, and Aiden Hill, and they take on the Flames. So the Flames do have a chance, but it requires a few other things to go their way. If you had to put a percentage on it, what do you think the Flames' chances is to make the playoffs?
Well, it's pretty low because the Blues are at home tonight. They're playing Utah in the second half of a back-to-back. And just look at teams like look at Edmonton. They played Winnipeg. Winnipeg didn't have much. Winnipeg was playing back-to-back. Then last night, the Oilers played LA. The Oilers were back-to-back. LA trumped them. And it kind of goes around the league. I think the Blues are going to win, and the Wild have their first healthy lineup since November. I think they'll beat the Quackers. So I'm going to say for the Flames, I guess there's a chance. I'll give them a 3% chance.
I'll round up a little bit to 5. I born and raised in Edmonton, always hate the Flames, but I kind of like what they've done this year, fighting through this. I didn't expect them to be this good, so I think this season is a win for them. So 5% chance. Don't think it's going to happen, but if it were to happen, I'd be okay with it. Question number 4 for you. Do you think Heisman winner, cornerback receiver Travis Hunter can play both sides of the ball at the NFL level?
I think he can. I don't know if it'll be full time. I don't know if he will take every offensive snap and every defensive snap. I think he'll end up taking more defensive snaps. But with teams and how they use, receivers coming in and out, I think I could see him taking, 45, 50% of the snaps on the offense.
Yeah, I think he can do it. In the last 25 years, only 1 player has played at least 40 snaps on offense and defense through 3 games. That's Scott Matlock of the Chargers as a fullback and defensive lineman. So it'd be tough, I think, as a receiver and a cornerback. When you're a corner, you're staying out there for the entirety of the game. You come off, if you get beat, you're looking at the stills and the film, and you're trying to figure things out. So I think it'd be a situational play as a receiver, but I think he can do it. Certainly if the team needs a spark, needs a play, he's dynamic when the ball's in his hands. So I think you're obviously going to try to make it happen for him, but if not, I just go back to keeping him at corner. And my final question for you today, it is McDonald's Day, per my sources. So when it comes to the Golden Arches, what's your go-to breakfast order and then your order for the rest of the day?
Oh, I'm going to go with Egg McMuffin, hash browns, and just the water. And, rest of the day, I'm going double cheeseburger, no onion, 6 McNuggets, barbecue sauce, small fries, and chocolate milk.
Oh, nice. For me, I've really started to get into the chicken McMuffin. I don't know if you've had that yet. It is very good. I might as well make it a combo with a coffee and a hash brown. And then for the rest of the day, variety is kind of the spice of life, right? But I think I'm at this point, I'm a quarter pounder guy. No pickles with a Coke Zero. And if I'm feeling it, the crispy ranch snack wrap as well. Just top it all off.
Okay. It's man, I haven't had a breakfast sandwich here in a while. I'm not gonna lie.
They're good.
Oh, buddy, I love the egg McMuffin.
Hit the spot.
You kidding me? It's excellent. Kind of like the bacon egg muffin, actually. Hash browns are good. Oof. Might have to try the maple one right now. They got that maple syrup going on. Oh, tasty. Very tasty. Let's get to a sports update coming up. Of course, there's playing games in the NBA tonight. And just watch the playing games because a lot of people, the NHL should get playing games. I don't know. And then if it is a playing game, does that qualify as a playoffs to you? But if you're a playing game, is that considered a playoff team? I say no. You're not in the playoffs until you're one of the 16 teams standing. That's why, for a technicality, when people say, Toronto's made the playoffs 9 years in a row, no, they didn't. They were in the play-in round and lost to Columbus. They didn't get to the 16. To me, not playoffs. Playoffs should be playoffs. 16 teams. You want to have play-ins, knock your socks off. You have a play-in game, great. It's a play-in game. It's not the playoffs. It's not a series. It's not the same. Hey, without rules, there's anarchy, boys and girls. Don't start dumbing down playoffs. Play-ins aren't playoffs. They're just play-ins. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months, 6 years, on a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers will recall defenseman Connor Carrick from the Bakersfield Condors on an emergency basis. The Oilers will wrap up their regular season tomorrow in San Jose. Speaking of the Sharks, Logan Couture confirming that his playing days are over, saying physically he's unable to continue. Couture was the Sharks' first pick in 2007 and finishes his career with 933 games played, 323 goals, and 701 points. And the Winnipeg Jets will be without forward Nikolai Ehlers week to week with a foot injury. The 29-year-old has 24 goals, 39 assists in 69 games this season. On the ice tonight, you've got the Devils and Bruins, Sabres up against the Leafs, Blackhawks in Ottawa, Flyers taking on the Jackets, Battle of Florida between the Lightning and the Panthers, Caps take on the Islanders, Blues host the HC, Ducks and Wild, Flames, Golden Knights, and the Kings in Seattle. In the association, playing games get going in about 35 minutes. You got the Magic and Hawks meeting in Orlando. Then at 8 o'clock, Grizz taking on the Warriors. Major League Baseball, we're 10 minutes away from first pitch out in Toronto as the Jays host the Braves once again. A couple games underway. Mariners beat the Reds 1-0. Nationals on top for the Pirates 1-0 as well in the second. Later tonight, Yankees host the Royals, Tigers in Milwaukee, White Sox up against the Athletics, Cubs in San Diego, and the Dodgers taking on the Rockies. In the WHL tonight, we've got two games at 7. The Hurricanes taking on the Calgary Hitmen. Lethbridge leads that series 2-0. And at 8 o'clock, the Everett Silvertips are going to take a 3-0 series lead over Portland. From the CFL, Greg Allenson announcing his retirement after a 10-year career, including 2 in the green and gold. The 2-time Grey Cup champion was an all-star on 4 separate occasions. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you. The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th, pairing hockey fans with some of their favorite players from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend in support of the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories. Friday features a champions luncheon followed by the teams hitting the ice on Saturday and Sunday in a friendly hockey tournament at Terwilliger Rec Center. To purchase a table to the champions luncheon or to learn more about how you can get involved in the tournament, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca for more info.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and Echo Pro Attachment Series. With one power head and 16 different attachments, the Echo PAS powers through almost any spring cleanup job. And speaking of power, Echo now has a battery-powered power head that uses the same attachments as gas. Find out how commercial landscapers can save 20% for 24 months with the Landscaper Fleet Discount Program. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
After 5 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. It is the Gregor Show, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where it is Tuesday. Lotto Max, $40 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Now, before we get to spec, just want to say a big shout out. I know last Friday we did the auction for the Gregor Foundation. Mark and everybody at Delta Valley, they offered to match the package that we gave away. So we ended up raising $4,000, which was fantastic. We had our final official fitting day today. There's always a few, one or two solo kids who somebody gets sick and they couldn't make a fitting day. So we have to reschedule it. And, there always seems to be a pretty high demand. Every year I'm always, for a lot of the people who donate and stuff, and I know a lot of the listeners have kind of listened to this over the years, but it's always a good reminder. Today was our last fitting day, and you always meet some very unique kids and parents and counselors who really, you can tell they really care about the kids. To me, I get almost as much joy as I watch some of the teachers and counselors who have seen these kids, and a lot of them come through some real hardships. They don't necessarily have a great support system. Others have just had some tragedy in their life, losing a mother, losing a father, different things. They have to leave their home because it's not safe. It's pretty tough. A lot of stuff that, most of us, I grew up in a loving environment. So it's one of those things you don't really realize till you're an adult, just how lucky you are to grow up in an environment where there's love around. You know your parents support you. They discipline you, but they support you. And that's hugely important. And, to see some of these kids be able to graduate in tough circumstances, like think about it. If no one ever told you to study, would you really study? Like, would you show up to go to school every day? Right? Would you have food? Like, think about when we're a teenager, we're not necessarily the best. And, sometimes, there's the odd parent that will come in with the kids. And today, a lady, April, came in with her son who had a real kind of freak accident. Like, he's doing okay, but he went tobogganing here a few months ago and just landed on a rock awkwardly and like literally punctured his kidney. And so now he's only got one functioning kidney, which is pretty tough. And, a single mom and situation. And I want to pass on to people who listen and who donate that your money does really make a difference to not only the kids, but it relieves a real big stress for a lot of the parents who, to get a suit for graduation. It's really hard. Like when your kid asks you for something and you just can't afford it, it's pretty tough. And so as I always stand there, and I always like I have a little spiel that I give all the kids. That's why I like to go, because I just want them to understand what we do at the foundation. And we always kind of surprise them. The kids come there to Dirk's, and, the staff at Dirk's, Mr. Dirk, is unreal. And just how they how they treat the kids. Brendan and Dustin and Justin and Andy, they're unreal. And Sterling, like, it's to watch those guys and just, those kids feel like no different person when they're in there. They get treated great. And, a lot of them have never worn a suit. They don't really know what colors to pick, and they really help them out. It's awesome. And as I'm explaining to the kids, we always try to tell them, by the way, what you're going to try on today is yours to keep. It's not a rental. And that gets a lot of oohs and ahs and kind of some surprises. And just April today was a mom, and she started crying. And me, I'm kind of a crier. So I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be the worst. And she was very, gratitude is the one thing I guess that I learned today. Like when someone shows you gratitude, it's a real powerful thing. So just thanks I just want to show my gratitude to all those who have donated over the years and help out our small little charity. When you see the impact it makes on a family, it's a big deal. So thank you very much for that. And to all the kids, it's great getting to talk to the kids from different schools and what they're doing in high school. And, some of them have plans of going to school, and, some are just, just trying to survive and just want to get through graduation and see what they can do and maybe have a gap year and work. But to see if I could bottle up that gratitude so people could see it, I wish I could. But it's my way of saying thank you to those who listen. And just, even if you don't donate, it's okay. Not everybody can donate at a certain time in your life, but thanks to all who have. It makes a huge difference for these kids and their families, and just gives them an opportunity to relieve some stress, some financial stress, and to go to grad and feel part of something. And because they put in just as much work as a lot of other people. And so this way they get to go to enjoy it and have a great day. So thanks everyone to Mr. Dirk and how they treat the kids, and to Papa John's, because I'm telling you, man, there's no better icebreaker than when you get to offer them pizza. So that's great. And to all the teachers and the counselors at these schools who look out for these kids and really support them. I have an utmost respect. I always have for people in the education system. It's such an important part of our lives. And but you see, like, these teachers really care about these kids, because a lot of them are coming through a tough time for a different variety of reasons. And so shout out to all those teachers and counselors, not only ones who are helping kids at Gregor's grads, but just know that they go to Cinderella's Closet for the girls, or just anybody who's got a kid in whatever grade who is going through a tough time, and you're there to help them out. You're making a huge difference. So keep it up. Now, let's get to the spec report, brought to you by GS Construction, and a big shout out to Turan. They made a huge donation to Gregor Foundation this year to dress a lot of kids, and they came by and got to see kind of the whole process, which I think is super important. So big thanks to GS Construction, who does a lot in the community, a lot of times unknown, and I know they do it for that. So, but I'll give Turan a big shout out for they have a big heart there, and they help out a lot of people. As we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. And Spec, what is your prediction for Darnell Nurse suspension?
Oh, there's a way to look dumb. Try to predict what the Department of Player Safety is going to do. Hang on. Let me give the wheel of justice a spin here, and I'll get right back to you.
Okay, how about that? Do you think he should get suspended?
I'm too old school. You shouldn't ask me that question. My answer is no. I don't think there's a suspension. He missed him. He didn't hit him that hard. His head didn't bounce off the ice. He didn't get hurt. But I also want to say, if he gets a game, he deserves it. Like that, because that wasn't. They say always hockey's fast. It happens fast. He had a good second to think about that one before he delivered the blow. And Darnell's a veteran, so if he gets a game, he deserves it. If he gets 2 games, that would be crazy. Like, I think it would be crazy to suspend him through the playoffs for this thing. But you never know, man. Like I heard you earlier in the show, and I couldn't agree. Trennan throws that cheap, lousy punch that everybody knows you shouldn't throw at Forbert and breaks his orbital, right? And he didn't even get a hearing. So, Jay, a really important player in the league said to me this year, I don't know if you were at that particular day there, but he said, I'm not sure that the Department of Player Safety really knows what us players want to be disciplined. Like what we want them to control. What are the things that players themselves think are the most dangerous moments on the ice? And it's that, it's the wicked play hit from behind into the boards that can paralyze you. I guarantee you it's that Trennan play where a guy doesn't know when to stop punching when he should, because the Trennan's been in lots of fights. That's the kind of play players want someone to really get disciplined. The Nurse play, the McDavid play on Garland, I don't know. They wanted discipline, but those plays aren't going to kill you. The plays that are really going to hurt you, those are the ones the players of safety should be more on top of, and I sense they're not. I think they've lost the plot a little bit. What do you think?
The consistency part, I don't really understand. I'm with you. The NHL's lack of cracking down on hits from behind bothers me more than any other play in the game. I think it's the worst play. And I know people, guy turned in. There's lots where the guy doesn't turn in. We've seen a guy skating in a straight damn line and guys still come barreling across the ice right in the numbers. And they're like, what? I don't know. What are you talking about? So, and don't tell me you can't react, right? These guys spin on a dime all the time. So to me, that's the one thing. And the NHL has shown if they really are committed to wanting to remove a cheap play out of the game, they will do it. They did it with hits to the head. We don't see them hardly anymore at all, right? No. They're pretty much gone by the wayside. The game's still fast. The game's still physical. You just don't see guys chicken winging guys in the head anymore because they said if you do it, you'll get Rafi Torres. That's how it works. Yeah. But they don't do it for hits from behind. So, and this play, the one angle from the front, it looks bad. Then you see the back angle, man, he barely touched him. And I saw him in Highfield walking out of the rink laughing with his teammates. He went, and one of his teammates, I think it was Achilles Smith, wasn't even playing. And he was like, "Oh, were you hurt?" And he's like, "No, I wasn't hurt." And he wasn't hurt. Now, will the Kings try to milk it and not play him tonight? Now they have nothing to play for, so maybe they won't. Anyway.
Sure, that's gamesmanship. Every team would do that. I'm not going to cast any stones on that. I mean, Nurse put himself in the position where now he could, the Kings are going to play that game, and he's at the mercy of George Peros, which is there's one guy to blame for that, and Nurse can find him right in the mirror. So, I mean, I hope for the Oilers' sake that he doesn't get suspended, but if he does, tough luck, right? You shouldn't have done what you did. It wasn't a smart play. So, and he could have hurt him. Frankly, his intent was to cross-check him in the back of the head and drive his head off the ice. He didn't execute it. He missed. But that was clearly what he was trying to do. And I won't come on your show and tell you that that's okay. That's not okay. It's a cheap play.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Jordan Binnington came from the back of Corey Perry's head twice. Right now, he missed it both times, just like Nurse. It's nothing. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency. I'm guessing the fact that Darnell Nurse was suspended in the playoffs a few years ago will impact this. But this
was different. Wasn't that instigating a fight inside the last couple minutes?
Yeah, exactly. Right, which I don't even think he should anyway because Heg wanted to fight him, but.
That's an automatic suspension, though.
Yeah, he has been suspended, though. So when you have a track record, you know how it goes back. But either way, if he gets one game, it kind of ends up being a whole lot about nothing, which is, I think, it should be. But if he ends up getting one game and one playoff game, ultimately 2 games, I think it's huge. But I think they're way crossing the line. Look at what's happened in the playoffs to guys like McDavid and Draisaitl. Look at Soucy. Cross-check McDavid. He didn't get anything.
Yeah.
So
he cross-checked him in the face. But the reason he didn't get anything was because someone else cross-checked him in the back and lowered his head. Right? So anyway, look, we've wasted enough time trying to figure out where the wheel of justice is going to stop spinning here. I don't know. You don't know. Our listeners don't know. Let's see what happens, man. It's I can see Georgie reaching for that wheel as we speak.
The game itself, Spec, it's hard to take much away because of the orders or what they were lacking in that game as far as players go. They'll play San Jose, and the result is whatever. Probably, I'm going to ask you this one. Connor McDavid's got 1 point shy of 100. Are you playing him tomorrow night?
I think he'll want to play tomorrow night, and I think that they'll probably strike a bit of a deal where this is me guessing. I don't know anything. I talked to Connor today, and we asked him, and his answer was, 99 points, 100 points, what's the difference? That's what he said to us.
Yeah, well, I don't believe
the Connor McDavid I know likes the 100 more than he likes the 99, right? Yeah. He's that kind of guy. So I sense he plays, and if he gets his point, he stops. He doesn't play a whole lot more after that. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and and honestly, I think it's important because I know everybody always says it's cup or bust, cup or bust. Well, there's no guarantee ever that he'll win a cup. There's no guarantee. You think, you hope, right? He's got talent. They got some good teams. You know what? The Oilers the last 3 years played the second most playoff games, so they're a good team. But there's no guarantee, especially when injuries that you see, maybe they pile up and sometimes you can't overcome it. But so there are certain milestones. 100 points is a big deal in the NHL. To do it 8 times means there's only 4 guys who've ever done it, and you're only, probably halfway through your career. It's a pretty good start. So to me, I think it's important to your best player who does a lot of things for your team and is always about the team. I don't think for one game it'd be bad to be like, hey, we're playing McDavid because it's a little bit about McDavid here, and that's fine. And he'll be safe. He's, people are, well, what if he gets Giordano'd? I'm like, he's not going to charge the net with reckless abandons, I don't think. What? And the other thing is, how many times has he done that since, and it's never happened again? So I don't really worry about what ifs. I worry about the fact that this could be an opportunity to cement his legacy even more.
Well, and you talk about how he's grown up as a player. He doesn't do that reckless to the net thing anymore. And you know what? He's really grown up as a captain. Like his thing today, right? I went to that practice today, Jay. There's only 4 guys skating.
Yeah.
Right? Draisaitl, McDavid, Hudson, and Klingberg. So we got a chance to talk to McDavid after everybody else left, and he stayed and talked to whatever media was there. There's only 5 or 6 of us. His message was very clear. He's sick and tired of this. We're beat up and we don't have our guys, and I don't know how we're going to do in the playoffs, and maybe we're not as good as we should be, and this might not be our year. He doesn't want any of that stuff around his team. He came out and said, we're healthier than you think we are. He says, it's not the way it looks. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll. Don't even breathe any excuses around our team. Don't even breathe any of this. We're not a contender. He doesn't want any of that stuff around his team. He made it very clear today. And I thought, that was a captain who thought of that message in the morning and said, you know what? I had enough of what I'm hearing out there. I'm going to change this right now. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think it's true. So the Oilers, when it's all said and done, might be only without Matthias Ekholm. It's still a big loss, but lots of teams have went on deep cup runs without one player, right? Yep. And so, you know what? You got to find a way. And we'll see when it starts, whether it's going to start on Sunday, whether it's going to start on Monday. We'll have a better sense later tonight or tomorrow, especially if the Wild and the Blues take care of things. Then the rights holders can figure out which games they want and what days they want, and away we go. We know they're not starting Saturday, so it's just a matter of Sunday or Monday. And they started Monday last year. I don't think it's a big deal either way. It just means the home games are either going to be Thursday, Saturday in Edmonton, or Friday, Sunday in Edmonton. That's for Oilers fans who want to go to the games. That's probably the biggest thing. So.
Yeah, that's right. And listen, I think a lot of people have been kind of like, I would say it this way. They've had a ton of bad luck. Okay. There's no doubt. Yeah. Injuries are bad luck. That's what they are. Now, if this bad luck continues, sorry, folks, they're not going to win. Right. If they've had their bad luck and now they don't, I'm not even telling you they need a bunch of good luck. I mean, you need some good luck to win in the playoffs. Every playoff team has good luck. Yes. If they've had their share of bad luck and now they get some good luck, or at least indifferent luck, they have a very good team and they can take a long run. Absolutely. If they keep losing guys, if re-injuries happen, if guys come back and hurt what was hurt before. Sorry, that's bad news for Oiler fans here. But I think the world exists where, maybe you can say that they've had their run of bad luck. Maybe they're due for some good luck, Jay. What about that?
It's possible. The old adage right now, if they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck. So who knows? Maybe the injury bug has because I asked Chris Knobloch hey,
it's a good
did
question.
you make it out of the game injury free last night? And his response, like, you don't see Knobloch smile very often.
No.
So I was just like, oh, geez, there you go. You can tell that it was something that's, it has been an issue a little bit for this team. And you know what? You have somebody, you go a game and it's a small detail, but it's not that small. And they're like, hey, maybe things are changing. Maybe the injury bug has stopped biting.
You roll into LA and you win a hockey game and everything changes, right? Everything changes. So, the Oilers know. I mean, one thing about playing LA as media and probably as fans, maybe we're getting a little bored with this. It seems like Groundhog Day. The ball is in LA's court. Don't tell me, we're just a little bit better team, so now we can win. We got a little bit better goaltending. We got Warren Fogle. Now we can win. Don't tell me that, right? Their best hasn't been good enough to beat Edmonton. Their style hasn't been good enough to beat Edmonton. Edmonton knows how to play the Kings and beat the Kings, and they've done it for 3 years in a row. The Kings have to figure it out now, right? It's not just about getting a couple more saves here. Like, sure, Kemper's better. Good for the Kings. He makes them stronger. I'm not saying he doesn't. But they have to figure out how to beat Edmonton because they've tried a couple different ways and they're getting further away, right, over the last 3 years, not any closer. So the ball is in the Kings' court here.
Yeah, like what I said earlier was Edmonton knows they can beat LA. LA has to find out if they can beat Edmonton.
Yeah, they hope they can beat Edmonton.
Yeah.
And they're convincing themselves, and that's how it works. You never go in and say, we don't have a chance. But I'll tell you, I'd rather be on the side of the team that's done it 3 times than on the side of the team that's failed 3 times. Put it that way.
Spec, it should be great. We'll chat with you tomorrow as the Oilers wrap up their season. And we could know exactly all the matchups if the Wild and the Blues can win tonight. And then, of course, if Columbus doesn't get 2 points, they could be out. So there's lots to watch on the Out-of-Town scoreboard tonight.
All right. Sounds good, Jay.
That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Will return. We got DVD. Also, for all of you sports fans, hey, you can watch Out-of-Town scoreboard, 10 games. A few of them definitely have playoff implications. The Maple Leafs and the Sabres, Toronto gets a point. They will win their division. I think for the first time since 2000 it is for the Leafs. So it's a big game for them. The Blue Jackets obviously need a win against the Flyers to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they don't get 2 points, then Montreal clinches. Then the games that start at 2 of them start at 6:00 our time. Utah's in St. Louis. Anaheim is in Minnesota. The Blues need a regulation win to punch their ticket. The Wild just need a point to punch their ticket. If that happens, then the Calgary Flames, who are playing arrested Golden Knights, who are resting a lot of their top guys tonight, that win won't mean anything if the Wild and the Blues win. So that's what you're watching tonight on the Out-of-Town scoreboard. The Kings are playing the Kraken. I guess you'd watch for an injury maybe in that game. That's the only thing that would matter. Playoff implications for the Oilers. Come back, DVD will join us and more. The Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll also take your text, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The The Zesty Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe. And Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now, for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of a Big Mac or a 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. A Minecraft movie meal, available now at your local McDonald's. See it in theaters April 4th. Meal available for a limited time while supplies last at participating Canadian restaurants.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
For a rock-solid start on all your spring and summer projects, Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete to septic tanks, precast water pads to outhouses, plus aggregates, landscaping supplies, and more. Renos, construction. Start planning right now at BashawConcrete.com or call 780-372-3854. That's 780-372-3854. Family owned and operated, proudly serving Albertans since 1963. Bashaw Concrete Products.
Can't touch this.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2-4s for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, hey, new promo code for you, Gregor100. You'll get a free $100 play when you make a deposit at PlayAlberta.ca. When we look at the orders, because we continue to get tons of texts, I just have to say, we don't know officially. All I know this for sure is the orders left to San Jose not knowing when they'd play. So they had to pack that they might be gone for a week, because if the playoff series begins Sunday, the orders are just going to stay in San Jose, practice a few days, then they'll go to LA. However, if the series doesn't begin till Monday, then they're coming home. So, and then they'll stay home here for a bit, skate, practice, and then go to LA likely on Sunday to get going for game one. So last season, the playoffs for the Oilers, they were the team who started on the last day, right? The playoffs started on the Saturday, and the Oilers started. I think if my memory's correct, there were Carolina played the Islanders, Toronto played the Bruins on the Saturday. And then the Sunday, you had Washington, the Rangers, Tampa and Florida, Vancouver and Nashville, Colorado and Winnipeg. And then on the Monday, the Oilers joined the fray to play, as did Dallas and Vegas. So you went kind of 2-4-2. Now there were some of those teams Toronto played game 2 in the same night that the Oilers played game 1. Could do something again. They look at TV, look at a lot of other things. Toronto and Ottawa And even Montreal, I don't think would play on the Saturday. So, because there's Washington's playing Thursday, LA plays Thursday, so the Oilers definitely aren't playing then. There are a few series that could start. Ottawa and Toronto, they don't play Saturday. So I could see the Oilers realistically waiting until Monday because there's no Canadian teams that not 100% sure. I know they'd like to, but if you look at Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal, unless they're going to force Washington to play, but history says they don't want a team who played Thursday to play on Saturday. So you might not have a Canadian team. They'll still have Hockey Night in Canada. Just might not be a Canadian team because the Jets. Let me look. I think the Jets are the Jets. No, they don't play. The Jets and the Wild or the Blues. They could actually. So Winnipeg could be the Saturday Canadian team. So that could be your Hockey Night in Canada game because none of them play on the Thursday. So there you go. I just talked the answer. And then if they go Saturday, you probably don't want the Jets and the Oilers. Because Jets fans are like Oilers fans. If you're in the Central Time Zone, your games are starting at 8:52 because they want the Eastern ones to start early. It's just how it's always been. It kind of sucks for that time zone. Oilers fans, you've experienced it, and you'll probably experience it again this year. You'll be starting the late games and not even starting like I could see a late game. Okay, well, the first one starts at 5 East or 7 Eastern, 5 our time, which we all know is closer to 10 after. Okay, well, then you're going to start at 8:10. Nope. They delay it. And it starts at 8:52. It's brutal, but it's probably what we're going to have to happen. Now, let's get to Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. Of course, covers the Flames, the Canucks, the Jets, and the Oilers, and down to 2 teams covering maybe 3 as Calgary has a slim chance. They're still alive, so until they're not officially eliminated, they're still in. But let's be honest here. If you're the Wild and the Blues, man, that would be an absolute gag job if you didn't find a way to beat Utah, especially if you're St. Louis. And the Wild, first time they're fully healthy since November. So Oilers fans, I know you're frustrated, but guess what? Other teams have had some serious injuries. The Wild, Kaprizov missed half the season. Brodin's missed 40 games. Middleton's missed a bunch. Eriksson X missed a bunch. They had a lot of guys hurt, but they're all back tonight. So let's get to DVD. Oh, he's not there yet? All right. Well, let's get to some text. 833-401. Oh, no, he is there. Okay. DVD, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? Sorry, running a little behind.
Hey, buddy, it's all good. It's all good. Are you writing a piece on how many games Darnell Nurse is going to get suspended? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm hearing, one, and I'm hearing maybe one in a playoff game. Yeah, it's tough to call on these things. Like, obviously, if McDavid gets 3, you would think that Nurse will probably get the same, but playoff game counts as 2, so maybe it's tough to speculate. He's got a hearing today, so we'll see what happens with that. But it wasn't a very smart play. I understand you get frustrated. It was a frustrating night for the Edmonton Oilers. But to take a guy down like that, and then when he's on the ice, and there was no need for the cross-check to the back of the head. So if you're an Oilers fan, you hope it's not a playoff game. You hope it's just a one. But I don't know with the Department of Player Safety how they see it, how they view it. There's been plays where I thought, oh, for sure that's a suspension, and it doesn't get suspended. And there's been other plays where I wasn't sure if it deserved what it got. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see, I guess, if you're the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I would. Might not be till tomorrow morning, maybe later tonight. We'll see. But it's if it's only one regular season game, it's kind of irrelevant. Doesn't really matter, other than for Darnell Nurse's wallet, but it doesn't hurt the team. I really don't think it's worthy of a 2-game suspension, but we'll see. There's a few things last night. You can't take much away from that game. The one thing I noticed, though, the Kings power play with 5 forwards definitely is a different look. And I think it's something, Chris Knobloch talked about. It's very different. Kempe on the back end. It's a total different look that they're going to have to adapt to. And the Oilers penalty kill, as good as their power play has been, the Oilers penalty kill, 2 of the big reasons why they beat the Kings was special teams, right? 56% on the power play 2 years ago, 45% last year. And while the Oilers were 45%, their penalty kill was 100%. They were 145% combined on special teams. I'll tell you right now, if they do that again, they're winning the series. It's Captain Obvious. But What do you make of the penalty kill and how they're going to have to adjust to this 5-man unit all of a sudden?
Well, I think, if you have a 5 forward unit on the power play, I think you have to be aggressive. I think you got to attack that point. You got to try and go back the other way. And I think that was successful for the Oilers last year. They had a bunch of shorthanded goals because they attacked. They attacked the guys on the point. They pressured people for the puck. You still got to protect the front of the net. You got to protect that seam pass. You got to protect that pass across the box. But I do think that, if you get Connor Brown and you get Matthias, if you get Connor Brown and some Janmark, that's what I'm looking for. If they get those guys going again like they did last year, because those guys are lights out. They're aggressive. They're making great plays. They're having good sticks, and then they have that threat to take it back the other way. So I think when you have a power play with 5 forwards, you can't be passive. You got to attack. You got to make them play the puck, and particularly guys at the point, you gotta challenge them. And then if you get a couple of breaks the other way, a couple of odd man rushes, you'll see a defenseman back on that point pretty quickly. But yeah, I think that's how you kind of do it. I think you got to attack it. You got to be aggressive on the power play, and I see the Oilers doing that. So yeah, right. If they can get that PK going like they did last year, it is going to be lights out because special teams battle is huge in the playoffs, and you got to win that battle on both sides of that puck. And I think last year, obviously, the Oilers did that for the most part, getting to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And you got to do the same thing this year, but it's going to be a little tougher because I like this Kings team. I think they're pretty well balanced. They're not top heavy. They kind of every line comes at you, but they're going to play the same way they've always played. They're not a very aggressive team. They're very passive. They keep a lot of guys behind the puck. They really try to frustrate you. It hasn't worked in 3 years against the Edmonton Oilers, so I think the Edmonton Oilers have a pretty good game plan for it. But we'll see what happens this year. But talking to Connor McDavid today, he's pretty confident everyone's going to come back and be healthy. And he doesn't want to take this narrative that they're kind of limping into the postseason. He thinks everyone's going to be ready to go by Game 1, which is obviously they don't have Matthias Ekholm. They won't have Trent Frederick, but he thinks that everyone else will be ready to go.
You look at Evander Kane, and I think he is going to be ready to go. Where would you play him? Where do you think, when we go to practice, because my understanding is they'll have Thursday off, so then they'll practice Friday. When they show up for Friday practice, which line do you think Evander Kane's going to be on?
Well, that's a good one. I think you have to start him on the 4th and get him to work his way up. I think you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Like a year off is a long time, and you're asking him to come in here. He hasn't played a game, in such a long time, and you ask him to get up to playoff speed. I think he's got to kind of work his way up to playoff speed. You're not going to see the same Evander Kane that you saw 2 years ago or the one you saw last season before he got injured. He's been skating a lot, but everyone will tell you game speed and practice speed are two completely different things. Like you got to get up to game speed, and he's not up to game speed yet. So I think I do see him kind of starting out, not getting a lot of ice time and kind of working his way into the game. Because, I think if he's ready to go, that'll be a big thing for the Edmonton Oilers, but you're not going to get the same Evander Kane that you saw last year. You missed too much time. And then now you got the knee injury to get over, you got all the hernia sports injury to get over. He hasn't hit anybody. No one's hit him. There hasn't been any contact. So I think there's a bit to go here. I think Evander Kane's value, if the Oilers can get to the 2nd and 3rd round, I think that's where we're going to start to see Evander Kane's value of being able to come back and play in the playoffs. But I would start him low in the lineup and kind of make him work his way up because I just don't think you can rush him back because he's just not up to speed when everyone else has played 80-some games in the season. He hasn't played any.
The defense pairings. Nurse and Bouchard have spent the last few games together, so you wonder maybe they're going to play there. Do you play Kulak with Wallman, or do you play Kulak and Wallman as your lefties, and then Stetcher and Emberson? What do you think they're going to do? Are we going to see a mismatch of defense pairings, and ultimately, when it's said and done, Kulak, Wallman, Nurse, and Bouchard are all going to be around 22 minutes?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do with their top 4. I'm interested to see what the situation is with Wallman. I don't think I was surprised he wasn't out there today, Jason. Like there was 4 guys out there taking the optional, and 2 of them were Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and then there was no one else out there. I was kind of surprised Wallman wasn't out there. Surprised Kane wasn't out there. I thought more guys would be taking part in the optional, especially if your top 2 players were out there flying. And McDavid was flying around like he was flying. He was buzzing. So I think he's going to be fine coming in here. Draisaitl's shot looks like it's a little better. That was one of the concerns. It doesn't look like he was able to get much of a shot, but he was looking good. I don't know who they had in goal there. It wasn't any of the Oilers goalies, but they're whipping shots around his head all night. They were firing at him. So there's no mercy on the young goalie, whoever it was they had at that skate today. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The defensive pairing, what you have, and I don't think Matthias Ekholm's coming back. I don't care how deep they go in the playoffs. I think he's done for the year. It doesn't look like to me that he's gonna come back. I could be wrong, but they're gonna have to go with those guys. So yeah, I think those are gonna be your top 4 guys, and then kind of work from there. I think those guys are gonna play a lot of minutes. We're gonna see guys playing 25, 26, 27 minutes a night, trying to make up for Ekholm, which is tough. That's a huge loss. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a huge loss. But those guys got to, pull up and kind of pick up the slack, and that's going to be a tough thing to do, I think.
Yeah, definitely it will be. And, the Wallman trade looks more important by the moment for sure, because of he's going to have to fill some of those minutes. And you know what? To me, I think the Oilers, my understanding is that there's lots of guys who they just said, hey, you know what? Some guys have skated at other times, but obviously for the optional, no. And they're just like, hey, we're in rest mode. But I have heard, and McDavid said it, he expects everybody to be back. So they're just saying, hey, just rest. You guys can all start. Friday will be the one, right? And I'm curious to see if Trent Frederick is even on the ice on Friday. Just because he's on the ice doesn't mean he's close. But at least this means there's a chance. If he's not there on Friday, I don't think he's playing in any of the games in LA.
No, I don't think so. Like I said, you've sprained an ankle. I've sprained an ankle. It's different for everybody else. Sometimes they say you're better off breaking an ankle than spraining it. High ankle sprain. Obviously, he thought he was good to go and probably got out on the ice and said, whoa, okay, this is not going to be good. I remember Devin Dubnyk once. He had a high ankle sprain and he was backing up, and I think it was we were in San Jose or something like that, and then he had to come in as a backup, and he came in. He thought he felt good, and then he pushed off on the ankle. And he's like, "Eesh, I'm in trouble here. This is not good." So those are tough to get back. This guy was supposed to be back in the lineup 2 weeks ago. He hasn't been in the lineup since. So it's just you just don't know, and you hope that he can get back, but you don't want him. It might be a short series. Like, you never know, like what's going on. Like, you look at the Jets last year; they were all ready for a long playoff run. The series was over in 5 games. So, yeah, you don't have a lot of time to get guys back if they're not ready to go in game 1. And Trent Frederick, to me, is, they rolled the dice with him. They knew that he had the high ankle sprain. They knew it was going to be an issue. He came back, played 7 minutes, and he was done. So it's unfortunate. But you hope he comes back at some point in this series. But if he's not 100% healthy now, he's not going to be 100% healthy, I don't think, when the playoffs start.
DVD, as always, buddy, appreciate your time. Enjoy it. Should be fantastic to get the playoffs going. And we might know the entire playoff format later on tonight, depending on what happens in some of these games. If the Blue Jackets can't get a win and the Blues and the Wild can, we will see. Have a good night, buddy.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That is Derek Vendy's. Also happening tonight, Brad Marchand is playing his 1100th career NHL game for the Florida Panthers. A little bit of a milestone number for him. I wonder if he re-signs in Florida. It'd be interesting to see what happens to Brad Marchand. So far, hasn't done a whole lot of nothing in Florida since he had an assist in his first game. I don't think he has a point since, unless he got one in the last game. We'll see. But like anything, it's all about the playoffs. They'd like him to score, but if all of a sudden he scores in game 1 of the playoffs, doesn't matter. Totally worth it. Quick break. We'll come back, update you on the play-in games, a little bit more on the Edmonton Oilers. You got a lot of prediction on Darnell Nurse. We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Bring it to savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Get up to 35% off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Get a king for the price of a queen on select mattresses. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 or more major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Dang! Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang! They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
The All-Timers Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit Alzheimer'sFaceoff.ca.
Drought fighter and disease control are both included with every Green Drop program at no extra cost. Since 1979, Green Drop has been making beautiful weed-free lawns guaranteed. Book today.
Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, it's a great tune. Well, it is the final countdown maybe for a few teams as the NHL regular season. We have 3 nights of hockey left. Then you'll have a day off Friday night. That should be your date night. How do you know romance or romance him in your life, whoever it is, the non-hockey fan, just so they know that when the playoffs begin, your social life changes maybe for a while. But the great part about the playoffs is the non-sports fan in your family who's kind of a sports fan, they become a sports fan, don't they? Come playoff time. right? They get into it. How many of you, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your spouse, whoever, your kids, all of a sudden they're watching the game. They're into it. Everybody's talking about it. You remember last year? Just think about the conference finals. You get to the Stanley Cup final. Now everybody's watching. Everybody. So we shall see. I will give the Utah Hockey Club some props. You got to have a little bit of fun. Their social media team, I don't know, from The Office. So they put out the picture of Jim and Dwight. Remember, goes, do you want to form an alliance with me? And then Jim's like, absolutely, I do. And obviously because the Flames are cheering for Utah tonight heavily. That's a way to get an opposing fan base to like you for one night. That's a classic use of the meme from The Office. Fantastic. So hey, guys, I hope we don't have the same Kane as last year. He was hurt last year. I agree with you, Jordan. I actually think Kane's going to be better than he was in the playoffs last year. He could barely skate. He was twirling around on one leg. I don't care that he hasn't played in 10 months. He's going to be healthy. Any of you out there, I know there's some of you listening right now that are driving home and they're going, oh, I got the sore knee and my back's tight. You know what that feels like. Right? You're trying to play with your kids and can't really move. Now, if all of a sudden you go get that fixed, you're 10 years older. All of a sudden you're playing with your grandkids. Geez, I got my hip done. Now it's unbelievable. When you're pain-free, it allows you to do so much more. I get that Evander Kane hasn't played in 10 months. His timing might be off, but the fact that he's going to be moving without pain is just going to, you watch him. Like, I could see him games 3, 4, and 5 maybe have a little bit of struggle because the adrenaline wears off now. But I think the first 2 games, Evander Kane's going to be a wrecking ball. I really do. And if he can get a goal early, he talked about it. When he came to Edmonton, he goes, man, I came sitting on my couch to play, and he goes, I got lucky. I got a puck off the skate in my first game. Remember that? His first game as an order. Went to the net, puck hit his skate, went in. It doesn't matter how you score when they announce your name. You're sitting on the bench. Edmonton goal scored by blank. You're feeling good. And I honestly, I think Kane, and I've said this many times, there's not many players who believe they can do everything all the time like Kane does. He's got a pretty high level of what he believes in himself. And hey, that's good. You need it. So I won't be surprised if Evander Kane is an impact guy. Remember what did he score? 7 goals against the Kings in 2023 in that first round series? I think he had 7 goals, right? That's when I remember the people who didn't understand when I think it was the empty net goal he scored in game 6, and then he holds up the 7 sign because he was going to game 7. Maybe that was in 2022, actually. Yeah, 2022, not 23. So I actually think Kane's going to be better than last year just because he was playing banged up the entire time. Should be fun, man. I wish we could fast forward to the playoffs. Let's get it on. But you got a final game. I would play Connor McDavid. Would you? We'll discuss that tomorrow. I think it's a fail if they don't. I'm just going to say that right now. I think that is a monumental, short-sighted fail if you don't play Connor McDavid and give him a chance to get to point 100. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, all of our guests on the show, we had a great lineup. Go to jasongregor.com for the individual interviews or anywhere where you get your podcast. You can re-listen to the show. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Only no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Plan to stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have recalled defenseman Connor Carrick from the Bakersfield Condors on an emergency basis. The Oilers will wrap up their season tomorrow night, regular season in San Jose. Sticking with the Sharks, Logan Couture confirming his playing days are over, saying physically he's unable to continue. Couture was the Sharks' first overall pick back in 2007, finishing his career with 933 games played, 323 goals, and 701 points. And Winnipeg Jets forward Nikolai Ehlers has been ruled out week to week with a right foot injury just before the start of the playoffs. The 29-year-old winger had 24 goals and 39 helpers in 69 games this season. On the ice right now at the first intermission, Devils and Bruins tied at 1 apiece. Sabres and Leafs are scoreless. The Blackhawks lead the Sens 2-1. No score between the Flyers and the Jackets. And midway through the first, Lightning lead the Panthers 1-0. And Dylan Strome has the Caps on top of the Islanders by that same score. Later tonight, Utah taking on St. Louis, the Wild hosting the Ducks, Vegas in Calgary, and the Kraken up against the Kings. In the association, we've got play-in action. The Magic right now lead the Hawks 20-15. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Later tonight, you got the Warriors and Grizz tip-off just after 8 o'clock. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays are in action, trailing the Braves 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Elsewhere, the Yankees lead the Royals. The Royals lead the Yankees 2-0. Guardians on top of the Orioles 1-0. The Red Sox have a 5-1 lead over the Rays, and the Pirates trail the Nationals 1-0 in the first. Later tonight, Angels in Texas taking on the Rangers. The Padres will host the Cubs, and the Rockies take on the Dodgers. WHL, 2 games tonight. Hurricanes host the Hitmen at 7, and then you've got the Winterhawks taking on the Silvertips just after 8. And from the CFL, Greg Allenson announcing his retirement after a 10-year career that included 2 with the green and gold. The 2-time Grey Cup champion was an all-star on 4 separate occasions. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up, we've got Fox Sports all night. Tomorrow morning, live local coverage resumes 7 a.m. on the Kevin Carius Show. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.